All right, today's Poker Live podcast. We're sitting down with America's Card CEO Phil Nagy to discuss some videos and many other things that I made months ago, and also recent bots being banned, players being refunded hundreds of thousands of dollars, and much, much more, guys. What's going on? Join Good Morning AK Chicago. Joey here. Back Poker Live podcast this week. All the podcasts are on iTunes. Search Poker Live or my links in the description below. Tomorrow, have it on Sean Deeb to talk about the markup controversies going back and forth with Negreanu. That's going to be something I don't know what to expect. 2 p.m. Eastern time. Lex Feldhaus, 2 p.m. Eastern time on Wednesday as well. Also, I haven't done this in a while, but I know we're going to have a lot of people watching this one. So make sure you check out Upswing Poker's PLO Matrix pre-flop chart. You want to learn how to beat those bots out there at tournaments and cash games? You got to get better at your game. Go in the link below. Sign up for a course on Upswing Poker for tournaments or for the PLO Matrix, because the bots are coming for us, guys, and we got to fucking destroy them. So that's it. All right, guys, joining me on today's podcast. And we just said I didn't see this ever happening, guys. I'm going to be honest. I made a bunch of YouTube videos talking about the cheating happening in America's Card Room, talking about botting, talking about colluding, talking about the tournament glitches, talking about some suggestions for Phil for the site, talking about we want a better poker site for Americans to play on, because Americans obviously love playing poker as well. And finally, the time has come. Phil Nagy is here. Phil, welcome to the podcast, my friend.
Well, I have to say thanks for having me. And here we are. Yes, amazingly enough.
Phil, first question. Why did you decide to come on the podcast, man?
That's a really, really good question. It was hard. It's somewhere around, I don't know, it's 2 months ago. I kind of turned a corner in, I don't know, let's call it life, whatever. Maybe it's midlife crisis, maybe it's not. But there was some things I didn't want to be everybody else. I wanted to get back to what got me where I'm at. And that's when it's out of the blue. I unblocked you and said, "Hey, I need to talk to you about some real life stuff." And you said, "What's up?" And I looked at it for like 4 days, and I said, "Oh my God, am I really going to talk to this guy?" And I said, "It's really." I got to the point that what got us here was talking to our customers, listening to the customers, whether it's easy or whether it's hard. And for the last year, 14 months, it's just a lot easier to sit behind your desk and work and do what you believe is right. Whether that's right or wrong is, it's completely irrelevant. You just don't listen to the outside public. You live in your own little bubble. Mm-hmm. So my bubble, I just got tired of, living in my bubble.
So what's the issue that you had with me to the point where you blocked? And obviously I understand we exchanged messages. I was not very happy about what I felt like me being cheated on the poker site at the cash game tables on there too. Obviously I put the videos out there in a way that I'm sure you didn't agree with. And the people that are with ACR or Winning Poker Network probably did not enjoy or agree with as well too. So what was the issue with me and the way that I went upon doing it?
Well, it's to be very, very blunt. I had you on my personal Skype. There's not a lot of people that I have on my personal Skype, and I felt like it didn't really matter what I said, whatever was going to happen. And really there was one particular word that stood out, and it's your show, Joey, right? And I'm going to let you put my feet to the fire, and I'm going to answer questions. But there's one thing that I would, as a human being, it's difficult to admit that you were wrong. And I was wrong, right? I should have stepped up. As a matter of fact, I should have stepped up right away and said exactly what things were. That being said, what got me where I was at was one particular word that really made me decide I didn't want to speak, that I didn't want anything to do with you. And that was the word superuser. Mm-hmm. And now I'd like to establish a few different terms, right? As we go forward, what's a bot? What's collusion and cheating, and what a superuser is. Mm-hmm. There's been in the industry, there's been exactly one case of a proven superuser. And that was where the company was stealing from the players knowingly.
Ultimate Bet, Absolute Poker, Ultimate Bet. I believe there was maybe both sites had something like that happen back in the early 2000s.
And it's you can call me a lot of things. You can call me an idiot. You can call me that I put that I put my head in the sand like an ostrich. Don't call me a thief. I've never stolen $1 from anybody, and I'll accept proof on a super user, and I'll accept that you were tilted and that was to get attention, but I really won't accept anything in between. After that, I'll lean back and we'll have a conversation as to what happened, what's happening right now, and a little bit less of where we're going, because one of the things that made it the absolute hardest was people expected me to come out swinging, because that's kind of who we were, and not doing that was it was my own ego. It was my own ego. I've been doing this for close to a third of my life, and to be called the lowest of the low it wasn't easy for me. It wasn't easy for me, and and the last thing, I mean, put yourself in my shoes. I didn't want to get you any views at all.
Sure.
Coming on and speaking about it at all, right? So that's where I was at.
I believe you didn't speak publicly anywhere. That wasn't just my show. You could have put up your own video. You could have done on someone else. You could have gone someplace else as well too.
Indirectly. As a matter of fact, indirectly. That's why I was the only poker site supporting 2+2. And indirectly, that's why we're not a supporter of 2+2, is with the emails that I got from them.
Right.
It really blew up, and I'll tell you, ego is a mother, right? And I really did let my own ego get in the way. I'll tell you, I'm glad we weren't sitting at a poker table, because you would have got all my money. I was not in a good place, and I wasn't thinking about what was best for the business. I was saying, you know what, I'm just going to do my thing, and to hell with to hell with what everybody thinks.
Right. So I want to go back to your comment about the super using thing, and I want to explain that more. So with the instance I'm talking about is an account named Sleepy Berry from Turkey, one of the strangest accounts I've ever seen in my entire life. And at the time, I already had suspicions that the Pot Limit Omaha tables were overrun with bots, sometimes 2 to 4 at one table. And up until very recently, I believe, after I sent you a spreadsheet of 30 accounts on there, I'm told that those accounts are not playing anymore. And we can kind of get into that a little later, but I want to expand on the super using thing. So now I'm sitting here, I have these suspicions already. I'm like, this is very strange. The play on this site is nothing like the play on other sites that I play on. I played 5 million hands Pot Limit Omaha in my lifetime. I've never brought up a complaint like this in my entire life. I've been in the poker world for 12 years, never made an accusation like this, never said anything like this. I don't even think about this kind of stuff like that. So then I see this account that I follow around for about 25 hours straight. I'm watching the account. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. And now when it comes to the idea of that, my thinking is that, well, if these guys can't police the games from taking away these bots, these are the most obvious bots, the most obvious bot accounts to me. And I believe some of those accounts were then banned after the first videos I put out at 5 cent, the 5 cent, 10 cent bots that played 666,000 hands and had some of the biggest win rates on the entire site at 5 cent, 10 cent. So my thinking is, if the security is incapable of catching these obvious bot accounts, like I'm sitting there, I'm like, I don't even have access to anything like that, then how can I possibly trust the security on the Winning Poker Network to police collusion and to police super using? And that's where I'm coming from with it. And I'm not saying you're the one that's doing the super using. I don't know. It's that too, because I don't know who else has access to these things. All right. Sure. I don't think it's you. I'm not sure. I don't know what's going on there, but there's a lot of other people out there that have access to the site that who knows what they could be doing. And you would have absolutely no way of knowing what they're doing, because they're located overseas in a different country managing the software.
So there's a lot of half truths going on. Right. Is when you talk about, people being overseas, managing the software. I know technically enough that what you're saying is not possible. Right. I read about enough about how the whole UB thing happened. that I know how it happened, and I know about that it cannot happen with what we have. It's, as a matter of fact, I would have stayed with the old True Poker software and not moved to this software if I ever thought it could happen, because that's just kind of I am. That being said, is where you say it's maybe that was I didn't blame you. When you think of WPN or you think of ACR, there's not any other faces that come to light. And the reality is,
I believe that's by design, though.
You know what?
You're meant to be the public face of the company. Who's
no. The fact is, I couldn't hire anybody to do it because everybody's afraid of going to jail. Right? It's the fact is,
rightfully so.
Well, you know what? It's the fact is if I can't hire anybody, then I'm going to do it myself. And it's you work with what you have. But it's in those 14 months, I've had to ask customer service to please stop telling me about the death threats that I get for being a super user, because I'm the one that's stealing from you. So I literally have a bodyguard. I have a bodyguard 24 hours a day, because I worry that I'm going to be killed because somebody thinks I'm a super user. That sucks. And you know what? Take this however you want. Is people look at you and respect you as somebody who thinks about poker and speaks for the poker community, right? You really got to think about what you say when you say those kind of things. That's all I'm saying. That's the spot I was put in, and I still am. So that being said, if I can guarantee that's not the case, I can guarantee that that I didn't do as much about bots as I could have. I can also guarantee that we're going to talk about collusion and all these other things. Mm-hmm. The one thing that I can't stand for is that I'd shut the site down. And I would not have another customer if there was super users, if there was somebody stealing from players that they had no chance of. It's in a super user situation. Mm-hmm. To me, that's why we never spoke.
Right. So I do think a common complaint customers have, and this happens all the time on PokerStars, on every other poker site, is where the support emails and says, you guys are cheating me, the RNG's rigged, you guys are super using me. That's a very common complaint. I don't imagine that these complaints are directly a call to action from a video I put out there, and then all of a sudden they saw the video and they say this is from that.
I had never gotten death threats before these videos, mm-hmm. to me personally. And I'm just letting you know, because the reality is people respect what you say,
right?
And that's good. It's sometimes you know what? If you didn't call me a super user, maybe it didn't get as much pickup as it would have, right? But there's some accountability that has to happen at some point, right? So all I'm saying is, I'm not a super user. I wouldn't condone being a super user. I wouldn't have anything to do with anything like that. Yeah, I don't know what else.
I'm drawing an issue.
As a matter of fact, one of the proudest moments in my life was when Doyle tweeted out, said, "I know these guys. And I can't imagine that would happen." And he was specifically talking about super using. Right? Because you have to be a certain kind of person to be a super user.
I'm very confused right now, because in that video I mentioned an account from Turkey, right? I never put Phil Nagy super user in. And to me, what it sounds like is that you're very concerned that and maybe rightfully so, because you are active in the cage tournaments. You do seem to play a lot of poker. I've watched every video I could find online of you speaking. Previous to making my video, I've seen everything that you've said online previously to the last videos I made in 2018. So, and I'm going to pull up some quotes, including one time where you said, you can quote me on this. I'm going to quote you on it right here. So you say I'm a poker player. I'm a poker player. I don't condone cheating. I'm not about cheating. And so are you saying you do not play on the poker site? Is that what you're saying?
No, God, no.
But you seem to love poker and want to play a lot of poker. I'm assuming you play online poker somewhere.
I can't play online poker anywhere. Right? It's the fact is I don't play anywhere. I have a lot of friends. I play some live, and the fact is, anybody who's been at the cage, people ask me, say, well, how long is the cage going to go on? I says, well, this is the only time I get to play poker anymore. So if it's up to me, the cage will happen forever. Oh, wait, it is up to me.
Right. I remember. I watched that video. I believe you also gave me a nice shot in that one. The first.
I did. That was the one. Yeah, I did have it. It's. You saw the table was pretty darn tight there at the end, so I started drinking, trying to loosen it up a little, and it worked. You know, I'm not the smartest guy in the world. I'm also not the devil, right? And I can understand why you got so upset. I personally wouldn't have handled things the way they did get handled. If we worked together a little bit better, I think it would have got handled better for poker, right? But you know what? I'm in a good place now. The company's in a much better place now. And I said the other day, I can't remember who I was with, if I had to do it all over again, if this was the only way that I could get right here, right now, I wouldn't do it any different. So the only thing that so let's define those three things real quick, and then we can start moving on to some questions if that's okay. Sure. I'd feel really good about that. It's a super user. A super user would be the company.
Well, why? How do we, like, first? I mean, okay. So I got to say, like, when we talk about this, and I'm not going to necessarily. I'm not going to say I don't stand by the initial talk about the super using thing, because I'd like to believe you, but I've listened to a lot of what you said in the past, and a lot of what you said didn't come true. You know, you said you made we're going to
absolutely.
So why would I believe in this situation? Like, I mean, listen, I want to believe, and I stand by when I said in the video, potential super using going on the site. I don't know. Well, I don't feel safe. I don't feel right, or I can't say correctly that I don't think that's happening. Okay. I don't know. I just don't know.
So I'll tell you. So you tell me, what could I do to prove to you that there's not a super user?
I don't know. I mean, I guess what could any site do, right?
Right. So you could say that there's super users on all the sites.
So this has been a common argument that you put out there, is that there's a lot of botting and other stuff happening on other sites. Now, I'm not concerned about what's happening on other sites.
No, I'm not either.
Happening out there, and some of these other, I know what's going on. A lot of effort, and this put me down a rabbit hole of security that I didn't know. I mean, I haven't played much online poker since these videos, because now I know what's really happening out there and what's capable.
Oh, and the fact is you don't know the half of it, right? Mm-hmm. Is you really want to have somebody that has some kind of integrity. It's on the other side of this table, because absolute power corrupts absolutely. The fact is that's one of the reasons that the things that I do, I want to be transparent and verifiable about, because if I get hit by a bus tomorrow, I want the rest of the world to be left with a company that can't change, because it's transparent and verifiable. Now, there's some things that are really hard, or we haven't figured out, that the way I'm going to get there is I'm going to talk with our customers about it. But as far as super using, specifically super using, because it was on Twitch. And one customer said, so can bots see your hole cards? And I said, wow,
can they?
People are really misinformed. People are really misinformed. A bot's not somebody who can see your hole cards and wins every single last hand. I can get some diagrams. I can get my development team to get some diagrams to show you how the communication between the server and the player, that somebody else can't see your hole cards. Mm-hmm. In fact, one of the biggest security leaks on a software that I had looked at years ago was you can't be able to see the hand while it's going on. So it's like, for example, it's everybody flops except for two people, and then you're able to see what's going on there. That's just a no-no. It's technically in the client server communication, there's ways to do that's impossible. And hopefully there's some technical people out there that can back that up, but I can have my technical people write up some diagrams as to why that's impossible. To be honest, I've seen it, but I'm not smart enough to articulate it right now. If we want to revisit that, I can show you how it works and why it is the way it is.
Right. Someone in the comments said Phil is likening super using it to only being in-house. I'm saying that you think it could be anyone, as in a random Turkish person that's compromised the software. That's basically my point, is that it could be anyone.
So it's at the risk of, now here's a question. You talked about this guy from Turkey as possibly being a super user.
Could be.
Right? It's what's okay for me to talk about there?
I don't know. That's a great question.
That's one of the things that I want to talk to customers, because when I found these bots that we just recently released, I was a hair's breadth away from releasing passports and addresses and burning them at the stake, because it made me so furious that this was happening. That and the people here in my office said, you know what? You can't do that. If you're wrong, you can be really ruining somebody's life. So I felt comfortable releasing the usernames. More importantly, releasing the usernames and then releasing exactly who got what for what refunds. So it's transparent who we're banning and how much people got. Right. That's a first in history. No poker site's been that honest with players. The second thing is, with that particular bot that you're talking about from Turkey, he's a lifetime loser, and he
is a bot. Is that what you said?
No, excuse me. That player that you're talking about from Turkey,
Sleepy Berry. I've heard this. I've heard this from support. He is a lifetime losing player. I don't think that means that something may not been happening the times I watched him, but if that's what the proof is, always down.
No. I'm saying it's if you're a super user, it's hard to lose. Right. And because we don't take Turkish customers anymore. And the reason we don't take Turkish customers anymore is because I can't move the money back and forth from the country easily. I couldn't.
It makes sense. I mean, I think, I really wasn't planning to spend this much time on this particular subject, because it's something that I haven't thought about since these videos came out. It's something I don't talk about or bring up anymore as well too. But I find it. I guess
sure, but I just wanted to make it very, very clear. Right. That I don't get online and steal from people. Right. I'm not UB or AP. I'm not going after the high stakes players and looking at their whole cards and beating them. And that's what people relate super using to. Right. Sure. That's the only thing I wanted to get out of the way. And we can talk about everything else now. I just wanted to clear the air. Last thing I want, I've got an 8-year-old at home. I don't want him looking up the internet on the internet and saying, "Oh yeah, look, my dad's a complete D-bag and a super user and steals from people," because that's just not who I am. The next one we wanted to talk about was bots. What's a bot?
So I want to wrap up
sure.
using talk, and then we kind of move past that. So I mean, the idea that someone being down money in their account, people can also chip dump the account too. There's ways to check the account, and I imagine I've looked into what exactly could be possible on the back end software of the Winning Poker Network, wherever it's licensed it from, and it does seem like it has a pretty intense security system for back end statistics. So I would imagine it would not be hard to be sitting there scrolling through, clicking through. Oh well, looks a little strange. He lost 25,000 in this guy. He hadn't lost many other sessions, So at that time, I put my faith in you and America's Card Room to be able to kind of detect that stuff in the back end.
And going forward, whether that's with you and I or the customers that are currently playing with us, I'd like to start to get as transparent as possible without giving out edges to players that are going to be used against them.
Right.
It's going forward. There's just some things you can't be transparent about, and I'll explain why you have to just trust here. And maybe somebody has some ideas. Maybe you could do it like this, and we wouldn't have to trust you, and we wouldn't be giving anything away. I'm open to that. That's.
Maybe comes up in conversation. We'll because I want to talk about the bots. I feel like this is more of a relevant thing right now. So recently, So I've been talking about the bots 14 months now. Okay. I try to talk about in videos. People send me messages all the time. I've got 10,000 messages over the past 14 months about ACR, man, about these suspicions, about I got money back, about this, about that, about all kind of stuff like that. And now there was a video that a streamer had where he played Fox Rock's account heads up in a tournament. This is a very, very winning tournament player. Very winning.
He's one of our stormers.
Right. So, but now I'm talking about Fox Rock's account. I don't know much about the guy who was playing him, but he was playing a heads up account for 30 minutes. This account timed out and folded down. It didn't play a hand, folded every single hand. It was a 2-to-1 chip lead, 5.5 million to 2 million in chips, times all the way down, 30 minutes. And finally that video goes viral. And then finally, this is the time America's Cardroom decides to take a stand against these guys and ban this guy and get rid of this guy. And then we got rid of his fucking Latvian friends out there, 7 accounts banned, refunds being issued right now, hundreds of thousands of dollars going back to the players, Phil. And now, would this have happened had this video of a guy streaming not gone viral? Because these guys have been playing for months since I made the videos 14 months ago. There's been these guys, these accounts have been playing tens of thousands of tournaments out there. And these are just the 10 accounts that we know about. And there's 70 other suspected accounts that I've just heard from recently. So
let me go ahead and answer that. Fox Rocks. It's the second that I came in and my security department said yes. Now this is proof. What I said it's, and I went into the Discord group. I have a Discord group with a bunch of our players that I want to talk and get advice, right? And I went into the Discord group. I said, why do you think he's a bot? What's doing? It's because it's not generally that a bot would be awful playing heads up like that. It's not like if it was a bot, it would not just fold heads up. Like it would be programmed to do something else. And when I talked to my security department, they said, Phil, it's this something happened to this script. The script broke on this thing, and it's a bot. And I said, I want to see it with my own eyes. I spent a few hours looking at it, and I said, yeah, you guys, I look. Remember. A lot of my really close friends are professional poker players, and that's how they make their living. So I do, and maybe I take it too seriously to ban somebody that I'm going to take away their livelihood. It's when you look at Russia and you look at Latvia, a lot of these people don't even want to talk on the phone because if you're talking about playing poker and you're winning money, it's bad. Really bad things can happen. Which has been a whole new experience for me over the last, year or so. But in this particular case, I said, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to ban this guy, and we're going to look at this guy's play. We're going to look at other play that's like this, and we're going to start. I have a write-up that I wanted to ban all of Latvia, and
get rid of them. They're done. Get them.
You know what? It's funny. It's funny that you said that. But then I felt like. Geo-targeting, it's a bunch of people, they don't have a lot of other options. Stars pulled out of Latvia, I believe. And now we've got some people that are actually playing for a living. So I want to say I've got like 30 videos of Latvians and Russians. I've got maybe closer to 100 with Russians over the last week or so, playing a 90-minute session. Right. And I'm matching up their stats, making sure they're a real person. If the stats are close, but not close enough, is we call them on WhatsApp and say, okay, get on WhatsApp, turn around, spin around the room, make sure there's nobody else in there, and go ahead and play a jackpot. And I'm going to ask you a few questions about hand ranges, because one of the things about bots, and I'm going to hold your feet to the fire too.
Go ahead.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
I already know what you're going to say, and I'm ready for it, Phil. Trust me.
Okay.
I'm ready. I'm ready for it.
There's some things that you can find out about bots because they have certain tendencies, right? Okay. They have for lack of a better term, they have some always and nevers, right? And that's the kind of things that you look for. And you know what? Maybe I didn't put enough weight on hand histories, because a lot of these always and nevers, they take a lot of time to converge with hand histories. So maybe I was putting too much weight on some of the other things that were not necessarily hand histories. I say, well, that may have been a mistake. Yeah, that was a mistake. So we banned these bots as soon as the first, and you know what? It's funny. The very first bot that I banned, he had won, and don't quote me, please. It was $170,000.
Oh my God.
He had lost $135,000. So his net was 35. I refunded the 170,000. Right. I did that as a token of good faith because I said I was wrong. Right. So it's again, you buy in, you win, you lose, so on and so forth. So that particular bot cost me, not players, $250,000. Are you with?
I'm with you, Phil. I'm just disgusted by that. I'm disgusted that this bot was allowed to win so much money on the site where Americans, this is the main American poker site option for tournaments. It's disgusting for them, man.
Well, just remember, he lost $135,000 as well.
Sure.
His net win was 35,000, and I refunded 170 some. Right. And people said, well, that's great, but what about why do you put a cap at 25,000?
That's correct.
And I'll tell you, I'm gonna thank Phil Galfond for that. I watched a video that Phil did, and he was ranting about poker in the U.S. And he said these unregulated sites don't have any motivation to have game integrity. There's nothing in it for them to have any kind of game integrity at all because there's nobody to police them. And I said, he's got a point. So that's why I put a cap at 25,000 per bot, because I feel like that's a stiff enough penalty that's expensive. It's at $25,000 because that's not $25,000 I get. That's not $25,000 the site gets. That's $25,000 that someone else beating the players got, and it comes out of my pocket. It comes out in profit and loss. It comes right out of our bottom line. So now I have a benchmark now I have a reason to get great at security, because if I can find a bot after $500 of win loss, then I just saved 24,500. That's a win for me. It's also it came up in one of the conversations we had. What if you find 1,000 bots? God, I hope not. That would be a lot, and I'd have to arrange some kind of payment plan to pay the players back. But I'd pay the $25,000 per bot. I don't believe that's going to be the case, and we're gonna get better at it. If this makes any sense to you at all, it's
kind of just a long-winded answer. That kind of the initial question didn't get answered. The initial question was why did it take a 30-minute video to catch these guys? Like, because you want the 100% proof? Is there no security on the back end to figure this stuff out?
It's not that there's not 100% security on the back end. It's a winning player looks very similar, right? And especially when you take one of these countries that doesn't have poker at all. They don't have any other options. Immediately, what you get the winning players. Are looking to continue to play poker. So they look a lot like bots because they're all winners, right? The casual players, when somebody pulls out, they just kind of stop playing poker. So it's hard to differentiate, between the two. We're getting better at it, and not only. Well, yeah, that was really the case. Is when you only get two types of players. You get winning players, and obviously you get some bots.
Let me think about that for a second. Winning players and bots, two type of players. Winning players, bots. Okay, I'll go with that. All right, we'll go with that one. So why is the 25K cap on there? The first guy got 175,000 back, and then the first one got 175,000 because I said we got to refund 175,000, and then I said, okay, wait a minute, this isn't going to be sustainable. If I really want to clean house, a business doing this.
right? If I want to invest some money and I don't want to lie about it. I don't want to find bots and say, okay, we'll just make that one go away and he just disappears. I don't know how to be transparent about that.
Right.
It's if I ban somebody and I'm waiting for their video, how long do I wait before I say he was a bot? There's some questions. You know what? There's some questions.
Video. That's what we're not looking at their patterns going over.
We're looking at play patterns. We're looking at play patterns. We're looking at a lot of different things, but it's you give somebody a chance to prove that they're not. Right? How long do I wait before? How long do I give somebody the chance to prove themselves that they're not a bot? Because I think you put out.
Give me on these guys. I'm ready to go.
The fact is, I'm getting on the phone with these guys. We'll
have a conversation. I'll live with these guys 1 week. They might like to live with them. I'll
tell you what. It's what's really happening, and you can search some of the bot forums out there, right? Because they're out there. And what's happening right now is we're watching cash outs. And we're watching people that are zeroing their accounts, and we're saying, "Hey, wait a minute, let's get you to prove your play." And we've got bot forums, and they're saying, "Oh dear, maybe we should be leaving ACR." Right? Well, that feels like a win for me. Now, that being said, if I find 1,000 bots, I will be making a payment plan. And paying people back. Right? But it's got to make sense for the business as well. There's got to be a motivation. There's got to be, and it's self-regulated. Even in the regulated markets, nobody's even doing this.
In terms of being transparent, or in terms of banning bots?
In terms of being transparent.
Okay.
And you know what? Go ahead and dig deep into any regulation in any country. And you show me where it says this is how you have to handle bots, because I haven't found anything.
I'm not in charge of the poker side. I don't know. That seems like
no. I assume no. And I don't.
The Omaha players go figure that out. Talk to my boy Polarizer at Poker Stars. Maybe he'd be able to help out a little bit or something with that, man.
All I'm saying is I don't deal with a lot of these regulations, but I haven't been able to find a guidelines that I can go by.
Mm-hmm. It makes sense. I mean, I understand the challenge, and it seems like it's not laid out, and there's no blueprint. There's no upswing poker for training for how to find the bots and that type of thing like that.
No, not how to find the bots. It's how much do I have to refund? How much does another site have to refund?
Yeah, well, that's good.
Or a bot, right?
Yeah.
It's not written in any law anywhere.
I guess it's whatever you want to give, Phil.
It's everybody. And what I'm hoping is that this is the first step to setting the standard.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I'm hoping that I can get the community to give me some decent ideas on how I can be transparent on anything, on other things. One of the things that came out is not having to trust a random number generator. And we had some customers come out with some great ideas on how you don't have to trust the random number generator anymore. And that's one of the things that we're going to do. I think it's super cool.
You don't have to trust the random number generator anymore?
No, it's what we're gonna do is we're gonna post how many times this flop came out, what's the standard deviation, and this is how many times the flop, this is how many times the turn, this is how many times the river dealt, this is the standard deviation, this is what was supposed to happen, and we dealt 600,000 hands yesterday. We could do that by month. We could also say this is how many times aces, kings, and queens got dealt yesterday. And this is how many times they were supposed to be dealt yesterday. Now it's provably random. You can log in and see that you're laughing at me.
I don't know what that has to do with much, but okay, it sounds cool. I mean, I'm in. I'd like to know how many times aces and kings and queens get dealt.
Well, that's a fact.
I don't know. Can the data be forwarded? I mean, why do we know that's the transparent data going on there?
Is because I can show you when you log in how many times you got it dealt and how many times you were supposed to get it dealt.
I don't know, man. Whenever I get pocket kings, the ace always comes on the flop. I just feel like it's so damn rigged, man. I get kings.
And you know what? That's a fact. I can show you that how many times it happens and how many times it was supposed to happen. And you're going to feel like, wow, that feels like it happens a lot more often than it does.
That's true. It's a good point. Losing poker player mindset right there, Phil. They think they don't remember the times that they won with the big hands. They just remember the time that they lost with the big hand, not realizing that they actually do win a lot of hands with kings and aces. They don't just lose the aces every time they get kings. It's a very losing player, losing mentality sort of thing like that.
So we're going to look for every single place that we could be transparent like that. Okay. And that's what we're going to do.
Okay.
I don't want to. Look.
Fact is, a lot of respect for you coming on here, Phil, talking about this stuff, and also I want to point out some things ACR does well. Okay, I don't want this to just be something about things.
No. You don't have to point. You don't have to point out anything good. Okay,
I have to point these out because one
twist my arm.
One thing you always talk about. One thing you always talk about is paying out the players. And now, Phil. Never in my time have I heard from a player that I did not get paid by America's Card Room. So you do, and you do say that is that all that matters? And I say no, that's not all that matters. Other things matter too. But you do take a great pride in doing that. So I do have to say that is something ACR and WPN they do well. They do pay out the players. They get players their money when they win money, no matter how much money they possibly win. So I do got to say that is one thing they do very well. Also, the marketing on social media. Not bad, okay? A lot of companies out there, they're kind of fishing pretty hard when it comes to that stuff. But ACR, I feel like at least try some creative ideas to create some engagement and get more players in the site. So I got to say, very nice there too. Also, the tournament series you come up with, the idea of the cage online, the live cage, the Venom, you give these interesting names. You don't just go the Big 27 or the Hot 61 or the Bounty Builder 14. Like, listen, the fucking boring names. You give them some actual kind of fun names. You make it a little creative. So I feel like you do that well too. And also even acknowledging, even though it took a very extreme circumstance, a 30-minute video where a guy's timing out every time, it took an extreme circumstance. At least you are attempting to be more transparent in the situation. You are refunding players hundreds of thousands of dollars out there too. So you do have to acknowledge the positive and the good that ACR, and also you are giving American poker players a place to make a living. You're also giving American poker players a place to lose all their money, but that's going to be any poker site out there. So I do have to acknowledge a few of the good things there too. All right. Because I don't want it to be like, it's just the worst thing on the site sort of thing like that.
So it's the other thing that I'm going to say is my goal is I don't want you to trust me. Right. I don't want you to have to trust me. I want to do the things that are I want to do things that are provable. Right. It's where in the gaming industry, that's really hard. I did an article the other day, and it's once I started saying some of this stuff, I've had some of the industry people come to me and say, "Wow, are you sure you really want to be doing that?" And I said, "Yeah." And one of the questions in the article is why do you think bots are a problem in poker? And I said, and I sat down and thought about it for a while. And said to myself, well, I guess if there was a bot that was, counting cards in blackjack or figured out how to beat the slot machine or was beating the lines in a sports book, that companies would have thrown hundreds, if not billions of dollars at it to make sure that these bots don't work. So then I started looking deeper into bots. And as we all know, Facebook has had problems with bots. Google is constantly fighting bots because it changes their search algorithm. It's not a problem just in the poker industry. It's a problem with the whole world. So because the gaming industry specifically is very held tight to the vest on what they're doing about it, I've started looking at what Google and Facebook and about bots and how they're solving some of their problems. It's very, very interesting about how they're doing it. And I think I can apply a lot of it to our new software. Now that being said, we might not even be here. I believe that our new software platform was supposed to take 8 months. I'm now 2 years and 5 months in the development and $7 million over budget. Turns out poker software is really, really hard to do. But one of the things that we're using is we're going to be using the Google reCAPTCHA, right? You know, the little checkbox where you say, I'm not a bot, and then you got to pick out buses or cars or whatever. That'll happen at the table while you're playing, and people complain they time out. Well, do it faster, right? Roll with it. And you know what? It's don't believe me. It's you'll be able to go play for play money, and you'll see. The other thing that we're going to do, and I don't know how to be transparent about this yet, but Google reCAPTCHA 3, it happens in the background, and every click that happens, it returns a bot score. So I'll be able to see how somebody's computer is reacting with our software. So whether that's Hold'em Manager or a seating script or a bot or any program that you happen to have running, it'll return that it'll be acting different than what a human is. So what I'll be able to do with that information, we're still, going to be working on that. But these are the type of things that we're looking at, because we can't look to the gaming industry for guidance, because nobody will tell me.
Oh, they won't tell you.
Well, there's nothing out there, right? There's just nothing out there. People say they detect bots, that they look at stuff and they put terms and conditions that you can't use this, but they don't say how they catch it. They don't say how they. I banned 36 bots. Well, how'd you find them? How'd you deem they were a bot? What did you do? Well, we don't disclose that. It reminds me of that Ocean's 12. I don't mean to be mysterious, but I can't talk about it or tell you why. I want to be transparent about it.
All right, so let's move on to what I care about the most. All right.
Go.
I'm gonna be honest. When it comes to tournament stuff like that, I care because I want Americans at least have a dream like I had coming up for online poker. But I'm obviously most concerned about the Pot Limit Omaha bots, Phil. PLO bots, the great game of Pot Limit Omaha, used to be a great site to play on, then overrun with 2 to 4 bots at tables. I sent you a list the other day of 30 bot accounts. I'd like to pull it up right now on the spreadsheet. And I'd like to ask some questions about these bots. So we got some spreadsheet here. And then also we're going to get into what you want to talk about too. So that'd be nice.
Hey, I'm here for you.
All right. So here we have a list of 30 bot accounts.
So
and I believe they're at least right here. You see 612,000 hands barred. These accounts, a lot of these play around the clock in some fashion. At 50 cent dollar, 25 cent, 50 cent, 10 cent, 25 cent, 1, 2, 2, 4. Been operating for before I started playing. I played tens of thousands of hands with a lot of these bot accounts. We then go over here to a new bot list with more accounts. I believe OB Twice was going to be an account that popped up at 5 cent, 10 cent last year after you banned the 3 accounts that played around the clock. I'd also like to pull that up here too, just so we have that for people to see here real quick. So right here we have let me pull up the image of this right here. If I can get it up, I guess I can't get it up here. Let me maximize this one here. So right here, we have these 3 bot accounts, which played 625,000 hands. They had 8.47 big blind per 100. These are all at 5 cent, 10 cent. How they worked is they would 4 table only. They would play around the clock. One account would leave. Clower would come. Silly Geek would come. And it would go around the clock 24 hours. They played 625,000 hands at 5 cent, 10 cent. Once I made those videos, these accounts were then banned. They didn't show up. February 24th, OB Twice shows up. Same exact everything. 4 tabling, doing the exact same things. To my knowledge, I don't know if refunds were issued for these bots being banned. And then the other day, I sent you the spreadsheet with the 30 bot accounts who all have, you can go through there, they have very outlier statistics that show that they're bots. And then now these accounts are allegedly gone from what I'm hearing. And so what's the deal with these PLO bot accounts? Where are the refunds? And most importantly, where's my refund at for the tens of thousands of hands I played with Slackbreaker and the other accounts on this list?
So it's when we ban one of these accounts, we'll stop the account and then we'll send people and I give people an opportunity to make a video to talk about what's going on. The reality is we have all the hands face up. So we're looking for some always or nevers and asking some questions. I don't know. Mm-hmm. My security department is working on it.
Right.
And it doesn't happen, not now, but right now. If you look at those 3 bots, I've heard you say that you were responsible for tens of thousands of dollars in refunds. We took wins, right, and we didn't subtract losses, and we actually refunded, I believe it was over $100,000 for those 5-cent, 10-cent bots. And we never made it public. We never made a press release about
10-cent bots.
Yeah, because we took the wins.
Holy shit.
And we didn't subtract the losses. Now, I know how many hands you personally played with those 3 bots. Hang on.
I know bots.
I know, huh?
How can we not know they're bots? They literally, listen, they are playing around the clock in shifts every single day at 5-cent, 10-cent with the biggest win rates on the internet. How can we not know they're bots?
I'm with you. What I'm saying is a lot of winning players look like bots. And I have my security department looking at them. Mm-hmm. Right. It's the fact is the original 3. Now this is where I come back to. I wish we would have been working together a long time ago, because the 3 bots that you sent me were immediately banned.
I know. And
we issued refunds. We never put out a press release. We weren't trying to pat ourselves on the back, right? And looking and learning from this is what we're trying to do. I will say PLO is hard, right? PLO is way different than Hold'em, and we've got a few people in here that are way better than I am at PLO. I don't think I'm qualified to find a bot personally in PLO. We're looking again for some of those always or nevers. We're looking at and I hate saying what these things are, but one of the things that we've seen is well, I don't want to get into a lot of the stats.
I can get into the stats if you'd like, Phil.
You can get into all the stats that you like. I will ask you this.
Go ahead.
That list of 71 bots that you put up with the tournaments.
Mm-hmm. Suspected, alleged. Who knows? I'm not the bot detective on that one.
Wait. Let me say. It's the reason I say that is when you put out a list like that, mm-hmm. right? And you say I'm not the bot detective, okay. Right? It's because you're a poker authority. Mm-hmm. The second that you put out that list, people believe they're all bots, right? So what I'm saying is you've got the power.
They must not be able to read. I said suspected bots. I mean, if they, I can't count on someone else to be able to.
I'm guessing, and it's right there. It says suspected bots that you suspect they're bots, mm-hmm. and I'm saying is look at those stats. Mm-hmm. And you tell me what those have in common that tell you it's a bot, because if you know something.
I'm not a professional, Phil. That's why ACR hundreds of millions of dollars. They go hire someone who is. All right. I'm not hired. You want to pay me? I'll fucking figure out who they are. All right. I'll make this thing happen.
So what made you suspected that they're bots? Because there's got somewhere that gave you the suspicion that they're bots.
So the tournament players I'm working with, who first they have these guys on the list of the 10 banned accounts or 8 banned accounts that you guys already banned. These are also bots that share similar tendencies to those accounts too, that a lot of players are suspecting are bots. I think those would be great people for you to speak with on the tournaments, because when it comes to tournament bots, I don't play tournaments. They come to me because nothing happens. They put it out there.
No.
What starts happening?
Enjoy.
Things happen when I put it out there. So sometimes, sure, some of those guys aren't bots, but it's better than nothing happening to a lot of these people's eyes out there.
And so I guess what I'm saying is, I don't know how many CEOs you have on Skype. Mm-hmm. I don't know how many people that you have their ear that you could talk to, right? Huh?
Most of them. I'm friendly with most companies in poker world, whether it's a site or whether it's a training site. I know almost everyone from most of the companies. You had my ear, right?
And you chose to make a video instead of say, hey Phil, let's work together and let's find this.
I did reach out to you, and you said you were in the mountains.
Yes, and 5 days later, I said, hey, tell me what you got. And 7 days later, the video came out.
I stand by the way I'd win upon it, to be honest with you. I didn't trust that anything would happen by it. I didn't. If I feel like I'm being scammed by these bots, they're 4 at my table sometimes. I'm playing all hours of the day. I felt like I'm like, what's going on? This is crazy. I got to get this out there. I don't want people to lose any more money on the site. I want to make people aware of what's happening on the site. So I want to go back to what I said about the PLO bots too. Okay. So now we sent the list of 30 suspected PLO bots that I'm told now are not working. And now I know you have something to say, so you can go ahead and you can ask me what you'd like to ask me.
Oh, they're under investigation. Right. And we're doing it. We're doing the investigation. Now, what I don't know is I'm not comfortable saying that somebody's under investigation, because people go to live poker rooms, right? I know the real names behind the accounts. Mm-hmm. It's one of the things that we immediately look at is we look at people's Facebook, we look at people's Twitter, we look at their tournament appearances, and we see if they've actually ever sat at a real poker table. So releasing that, hey, XYZ player is under investigation. Okay. The fact is, people may not read later on that they were found innocent, and all of a sudden they're ostracized by, their local poker community. That's a lot of responsibility, right? I'm willing to work with people, because the fact is if I said I'm investigating Chicago Joey for, that's not right for me to say that.
Well, you said you wanted to hold my feet to the fire about something. So go ahead.
I wanted to know where those stats came from and what were the commonalities in those stats. Mm-hmm. Right.
That would be good to know. That'd be good.
Right.
As a security.
I would love to know, because if you know something I don't.
Well, you said you want to hold my feet to the fire. What do you want to ask me about?
That's what I'm saying, is you put up 71 suspected bots.
Okay.
What was it that made you suspect that they're bots?
So I'm on the bots right now. For the tournament bots, I already answered that question about that. I can put you in touch with the people who've done the deep dive data on that, who found the other bots that were connected to Fox Rocks. All right. These guys found these bots. Now the bots are banned. They're confirmed bots. The data showed that these guys were correct. I can put you guys, the security team, whoever that is, in touch with them. These guys would love to clean up the site. They would love to. They're more than happy to.
I'd love to work with them.
Right. But if we talk about PLO, I'd be more than happy to show you the data and how we know these accounts are bots. So I go back to the spreadsheet one more time here. All right. So pull up the spreadsheet here. So as you can see, the 30 bot accounts I sent you the other day, very similar stats. Now the outliers for the statistics we're looking at here is 1 win self flop, most players. Now, you did mention that you thought I have similar bot stats. Now, the 2 outliers for the bot stats, which lets you know a lot of these accounts, and this is the main bot profile that's been distributed that we suspect was probably on PokerStars back in the day too, that was then removed, and they were some of the biggest winners on the site as well. So when you go through here, you can go through 1 win soft flop, 1 money at Showdown, went to Showdown. These are all, you scroll across, it's about the same stats for every single account here. And the stats that we're looking for are C-bet, flop, multi-way, which if you go through the data,
I will say that is one of the stats,
right?
C-bet multi-way that they do look at,
right?
And that's one of the key indicators. That's one of the key indicators that we're looking at.
Okay.
That being said, is a lot of this changes when you have hands face up, and we're able to find some always and nevers. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not going to say it's you know what, I was going to say, I'm not going to say we're perfect. We weren't great. We were less than ideal in finding bots. It's hard.
I found them. Who? You didn't find them. What do you mean? He didn't find them. These accounts weren't found by you. The 5 cent, 10 cent accounts were found by you. The people who helped me compile the data, these guys found the bot accounts. These guys took so much time.
Absolutely.
Where's their refund? Where's their money at for compiling this data together, man?
The fact is I got these, and the investigations are not over. Those 3 bots, there was refunds.
Good.
Right? There was refunds, and and it'll continue to be. It's the fact of the matter is we're going to be transparent about it.
Good.
What I would like, here's what I would like. Teach a man to fish. If you know something I don't know, I am happy. It's for every poker site out there. If you guys have a way to find bots that I'm not using, I'll buy it. I'm pretty darn easy to get a hold of, right? I want to be great at this, right? Showing me who these bots are so that there could be more bots later on, and I got to wait another 300,000 hands because it's super top secret on how on what these stats we're looking for, doesn't make any sense. We both want the same thing.
Agree.
Right? If you guys know something that I don't, I have more information than you do, right? Let's sit down and let's talk about it. Now, I don't know. Again, I take full responsibility for my ego getting in the way, but I felt very, very attacked the way this all came out. And I said, to hell with it. I'm going to do it myself, and I'm going to do it the way I see fit. That's me. Maybe that's a personality flaw. Okay. I'm not there now. And you know what? It got us to being the most generous refund policy publicly. It's verifiable refund policy that anybody has. Well, that's a win for the poker community. I don't care how you look at it.
100%.
Right? And it's the only question, the question that I'm wrestling with right now is when somebody stops playing or somebody's banned, to the player, it looks the same. And I don't know how to be transparent about that yet. We've been kicking around some ideas about the blockchain. We've been kicking around some ideas about, how we can be transparent. Like, for example, you stopped playing, right?
Done.
People could take,
never again. Done.
Yeah,
hey,
yeah.
I don't want to say never again. You clean up.
No.
I'm coming back. I'm ready. You want to know what?
I'll tell you what.
I'm ready to come back. I'm not opposed to playing on the site.
I'm not going to ask anybody to come back. What I'm going to ask people to do is I'm going to ask people to keep listening. I'm going to ask people to keep watching, because if you give me 1% of your trust and confidence, we're going to earn the other 99%. I'm not sure how long it's going to take, but we're going to get there. We'll get there a lot faster if we can get some constructive criticism and a little help as to what we're doing right and what we're doing wrong.
Right. I did make a video that said, "Dear Phil Nagy, America's Cardroom CEO, February 2018." So I have tried my effort to try to do that, whether it was a great effort or whether it was a effort that
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. It's just for future just for future reference. A quick, yo, Phil. Can we discuss this on Skype? Would go a long way. Right? We'll make a video and I'll give you complete credit for it. Hell, I'll send out an email to 1.5 million customers that have signed up with us and say, you know what? Joe Ingram did this and he told us about this.
Send him the video.
Watch this on his channel.
Yes.
I got no problem. I got no problem giving credit where credit was due.
Thank you.
What I do have a problem with is maliciously attacking somebody. Without having an opportunity to talk about it first. That's where I was at.
Was I incorrect about a lot of things that I said?
That
doesn't matter.
You know what? If as a poker player, when I walk into a poker room, it's most of my poker buddies. At some point, I've owed them some money, or they've owed me some money because they didn't want to walk to the ATM and they wanted to sit back in the game, or whatever that happens to be. I don't know what that unsaid thing is between poker players. But I know it does happen. And I thought we were that. I was wrong. Right? When I first saw the video, I called some friends of mine and I said, "Can you call this guy and make sure that everything's okay?" I don't know if you got those phone calls.
I talked with a few people. I did.
And they said, well, the PR spin on this. And I said, to hell with this PR spin on this. right? Is I can't imagine a world that he was in his right mind and he didn't just contact me. I thought he was one of those unsaid poker buddies. That's the way I took it, and I was wrong, right? We weren't there, right?
Right.
Here's where we're at now, and we're gonna make we're gonna make things better. We're making things better right now.
Make poker great again. Make America's Card Room great
It's
again.
gonna be one step at a time. It's not gonna happen overnight. It's all I can ask is that you keep that you keep watching. And I'll tell you what, if you want to sit down every 3 months and say, what have you done in the last 3 months? I'll be happy to, right? If you don't want to, then I'll sit down with somebody else, because I've made a commitment that I'm not going to put my head in the sand ever again.
Well, I'll be waiting anxiously for my refund here. I've seen a lot of tournament players get their refund. I know my man Slackbreaker, me and him done a lot of battling. Me and a bunch of other accounts on there. So I'll be anxiously waiting for my refund as well, too. I've been going through my database. These guys look like some big winners in my database, too. You only get hands in my database when you're at the table with them. So that'd be nice to see a little bit back. Maybe I get to play an ACR again, man. Because I think that when you go through the tables, it's a little strange when there's no Americans at the bottom. And these aren't even Nolan Holm bots. I can't speak on Nolan Holm cash game bots. I don't really know. And then we can also speak on how much these accounts have won through the Beast program, which rewards people for the rake that they earned. When I played on there, I would place top 10, top 5, top 20 pretty regularly when I was grinding. And I think a lot of other accounts that were on there are some of these bot accounts now. So what happens to that money that these accounts have won could be in the millions of dollars on the Beast, which is the thing that you heavily promote. It's always on the site. It's always going. I think a lot of grinders aspire to get high on there and to earn money. Those are a lot of professional poker players out there.
Yeah, that's also winnings. It's for sure. It's 100%. Oddly enough, that actually the Beast money comes out of the rake, and I give it back to the player. So we have the effectively the lowest rake there is, right? So if max $3, right, 24 cents goes to the Beast. So you would have paid that $3 rake no matter what. You're essentially paying $2.76, and the rest goes back to the players. So yeah, I wish they weren't there, but I don't know. You know what? I don't know what to do about that. Yeah. That's another discussion to have.
Can we throw in my time, stress, driving myself nuts, losing my mind? I don't think that account, they probably don't have that in a diagram. They probably don't put that in a spreadsheet, but drawing awareness to the problem, pointing it out.
Yeah.
A lot of other players out there get taken advantage of. It's just.
I'll tell you what.
It's tough to deal with. You say it wasn't a happy time for you. It wasn't a happy time for myself either. I wasn't strolling around, walking around, swinging my arm. Oh, I did this. Like, no, I was fucking really hurt too, man.
Hey, and I think
friend, that's what I felt like too. I felt like we were on a friendly level. Yeah. I didn't think my friend, who I've seen in videos have the lobby open 24 hours a day, he's got the lobby open. I think my friend's smart enough guy. He's in charge of a fucking poker site. I think this guy is able to go through the lobby and say, man, these accounts, they sure play every day. They're from, where are they from? Eastern Europe, Latvia, Belarus, Russia. All right, that's a little strange. We got 4 of these accounts on each table. All right, let me see their patterns. So that guy's letting these accounts play with me. So you were upset about that. Well, that's what I'm upset about too. I feel like, man, I can't believe this guy. You paid me money in the past to promote ACR. I've been the biggest vocal promoter publicly of America's Card Room in the past, before the videos. Who talked about on the podcast the most, that got the most views? Me. I'd bring it up. Americans, where should I play? Go to America's Card Room. That's what I would tell them back then. All the time on all of my podcasts that have millions of views out there on Instagram and on Twitter. So I'm also upset about it too. I understand you're upset as well, but at the same time, I am too.
It's the fact is one of the things that, I mean, I'll tell you, and I don't know. I'm almost 50 years old now. I can't see crap, and my eyes are getting pretty bad. But I've done some soul searching recently, and the fact of the matter is 2018 sucked. It was definitely one of the most difficult years of my whole life. We grew really, really fast, year on year on year. we grew almost 100% year on year on year. It's maybe it was a really, really good thing that we had to take a step back at what we do for a living and tighten some things out and learn, right? It turns out when you're hitting home runs every single time, you forget what it's like to strike out. And again, it's definitely not easy to say that I made these mistakes. And you know what? I'm going to make other mistakes. What I don't want to do is I want to fail fast. I'm going to make mistakes. I want to realize them faster and address them faster. And I don't know what else I can do but that.
Right. That's all you can do at this point. You try to make things better than what happened in the past. You know, I think we all make mistakes. We all fuck up. We all do some things we don't want to. We wish we didn't do, but we try to move forward. We try to make it better. And it seems to me that that's the position that you're saying that you're in right now. Whatever circumstances took place to get to that point, but that's the point that you're at right now.
Yeah, that's the point we're at right now. So I've talked to a few different people. It's PLO players, Hold'em players, tournament players. They're looking at their databases. It's people. I'll tell you, it's oddly, sadly enough, and we're in a situation right now where we've addressed the situation, and I may have. It's more reports of bots than I do have customers. So it makes it really, really difficult to separate what's real from what's just tilt.
People in the chat are saying, do you think you should step down? With what you said, if you can't handle or manage the situation, do you think someone else should be in charge that can handle and manage the situation?
I'll tell you what, it's you show me somebody else who's aside from the Scheinbergs, right? You show me somebody else who's run a poker site better.
I need to think about this one more. Full tilt? No. True. You could steal all the money from the players. Good point. you could be taking all the high six players for all their money. Okay. Another great point. PP poker got its own issues. Global poker, we could debate, I guess. Party poker, maybe back in the day, maybe, but certainly not in recent years. But maybe we could debate now as well. Unibet 888. I mean, there's.
I'm not the best. It's you know what? There's definitely smarter people out there. There's definitely better people out there. I don't believe there's anybody else that I don't believe anybody else is going to do my job better than me. Right. And especially that I'm back from what got me here. Mm-hmm. Right. It's maybe I let my head get too big. Maybe I thought, wow, there's no way that can, I'm the greatest. Right. Well, here's some humble pie and I'm eating the crap out of it.
Sounds like you just need more people working there, bro. I mean, like, it's not easy to bring some more people, put them on the payroll. You're making that much money in rake. Bring some more people in that, because it doesn't seem like the team is that big to me.
I'll tell you what. It's how many people do you think we have?
7.
I have 300 people working on 3 different continents. Mm-hmm. Right? That's not easy to manage. And for the people that have been down here, that's one of the reasons, and this is before the whole bot thing that I decided to do the cage down here in Costa Rica, because I wanted people to see who we are and what we do. Now, are we perfect? No, right? We're and you know what's weird about security and. It's other poker sites, other gaming companies are going to really not like that I'm saying this. It's weird to invest money into game integrity, right? The Scheinbergs and Esai had a vision that most poker sites never will get. The fact is I could get rid of all the bots today. You know what I would do?
Do it.
Yeah, absolutely. I have to ban all winners.
I don't think so.
No,
you're going one extreme to the other. What are you talking about right now?
No. If you ban all winners, all the bots go away. So
all right, let's try it. Go ahead.
You're just saying that because you don't play. But what I'm saying is a lot of the sites are working on, leveling the playing field and doing things for this and doing things for that. The reality is, the murkier you make it, historically, it's been the players. Even back with I don't know if you remember Stocks Poker and with PTR, when they found the short stack, high stakes cheating, it wasn't even stars that found that. Historically, it's been the players that have found these things with the poker sites, because let's face it, poker players are some of the smartest people in the world. They're sitting there looking at their database, trying to figure out how to get better, and they're spending more. And you know what? You can't afford to hire most of them because they're just too smart and they're too high paid. So what you can do is listen to them, right? That's where I'm at.
500,000, Phil. I go to work.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
I'll take these guys down. We'll clean the site up.
And what's funny is I'm sure that there's poker sites out there that are paying people like that. You wouldn't imagine how careful I am about how much I spend. You would not imagine, because I have a crazy way of looking at things. I don't like the idea of ever dipping into player balances. And you know what? I can. I just won't. I don't even. The fact is in my accounting department, they don't even let me look at that number, right? I don't ever even want to be tempted. So yeah, it's a weird spot. It's a weird spot because.
Yeah, it sounds like you got some work to do over there.
Yeah, we got some work to do, but we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there together, right? It's whether it's you or it's the players that are playing on the site. Is when I have a problem and I don't know how to solve it, or I don't know how to be transparent about it, we're going to talk about it, and I'm either going to be provably transparent about it, or I'm going to have a logical explanation as to why I can't be transparent about it. And maybe somebody comes up with a better idea.
We'll see. Maybe someone out there has an idea. The problem is getting that idea to you, which.
Nope. Getting the idea to me. It's after this, there will not be any 2-week period that I don't go on Twitch and talk to customers for every couple of hours. I don't know if you've noticed, but I've actually, and social media does suck up a lot of your life.
Agreed.
And running a company that is on 3 different continents and 300 people, I don't have the time to do that. So I will have some people to filter it out. Our Stormers group has been an amazing filter, where we've got 30 people that are twitching pretty regularly. They hear back from the customers, and I've got one group chat that I talk with them, and they kind of filter out things, and I hear that back. If that doesn't work, we'll come up with something else. I'm gonna make it a point that I'm gonna take some time to listen. I'm gonna carve out this time to listen to players, and I'll post when that's gonna be. Cool. I don't have to work those days. I get to rap with you guys.
So there's one subject a lot of the high stakes guys wanted me to ask you about, which is there was a player suspected of being a bot at the high stakes tables named Keto Fan, who was so a big thing came out. There was accusations made, and then immediately after this thing went public and a lot of discussion was made about it, the heads up tables were removed from the site, and a lot of players seem to be very upset about this because they felt like ACR WPN had one of the best heads up ecosystems on the internet in terms of being able to play.
Yeah, it's
scared. A lot of players were wondering, this is one of the biggest winning accounts on the entire site, and they were wondering about what happened in this account.
I got rid of heads up players. I got rid of heads up because I didn't feel comfortable charging $1 to $3 rake per hand, and it was a net loser for me. The fact is the win rates are too high. And the cost of moving money because of the markets that I take was too high. So getting rid of heads up tables was an economic thing. Keto Fam was a big winning player and remains to be a big winning player on other sites. that's about what I can say. It's maybe I'll, you know what, I'll try and reach out to him and see if he's somebody that wants to come out and say, yeah, it's me. But generally, when you're a really big winner and nobody knows who you are, they're reluctant to do that, especially if they're in a country that they're not supposed to be doing what they're doing. Is as soon as we get in a position, I want to talk with some heads up players about how we can change heads up. Whether I talked to the guys at Heads Up Sit and Go about doing Heads Up Sit and Goes in matches, maybe best of 3 or best of 5. It's not hyper turbo Heads Up Sit and Goes. As a matter of fact, it's like I think maybe I'm the only site that got rid of Heads Up and got rid of hyper turbo Heads Up Sit and Goes, and I got rid of Double or Nothings because I don't care who you are. I don't think you can police Double or Nothings properly without collusion, right? It's just too easy. So historically, I've got rid of these things that I just don't believe I'm good enough to police. And it's cost me money. Double or Nothings, those are just rake monsters. Mm-hmm. I got rid of those 2 years, 3 years before you and I ever talked about it. I really want to do the right thing. It's just not obvious what the right thing is a lot of times, because I'm weighing in things that maybe the players can't see, and and I'm going to try to figure out how transparent I can be, right? So that we can get there. Like here's an interesting dilemma. I've got all of Foxrock's hands face up. I don't feel comfortable sharing that with anybody because now they know exactly how to build a winning bot. Mm-hmm. Boy, how dangerous is that? Right? It's who do I trust enough that I can share that with? That's a weird spot. It's funny enough. We're moving offices again, right? I don't want to name any names, but one of the biggest poker sites in the world has closed their offices here in Costa Rica. We picked up around 15 or 20 people from that ex poker site. So some people with some experience that maybe we don't have right now. Super excited about that. And we'll be moving into their old offices. I already signed the lease. It's with a little luck. It's in the next 30 days. I'll be able to walk through on camera and show you that we'll have. They used to have 600 people here in Costa Rica. So we're setting ourselves up to really go to town.
So to clarify the question I initially asked, the Keto fan account wasn't banned and no refunds will be issued to players who lost money to him.
No, we didn't ban it. We got rid of Heads Up because looking at Heads Up.
Right, I understand that, but I'm just saying the account. I understand that part, right?
We looked long and hard at that account. Mm-hmm. And he's a really, really good player. And there's not going to be any refunds at this point. When I got rid of Heads Up, he's Heads Up player, and I'm going to go play somewhere else.
Okay, are you able to detect real-time software if players might be using that? Because I know it's a big issue on some other sites, and I know a lot of players who are worried about that.
Yeah, the fact is there's a number of different types of, let's call it software, bots, whatever. Mm-hmm. We've actually set up some things here and trying to figure out exactly how to beat them. Yeah, there's some hard things. What's different about the new client. So again, I wish it wouldn't have taken 2.5 years to build. What's different about the new client is I read what you have going on in the background. What I can read is I can read how you're interacting with the software. So if you're streaming, I'll know that you're streaming. If there's anything else that's interacting with my software, I'll know that you're doing that. Which is also really weird because it's if you're logging on to it's Pornhub, Turns
So
out.
I actually have a question for you. Okay. So
Go ahead.
this is why I always suspected when I would, I always suspected because sometimes I'd play long sessions and maybe, you know, I'd be playing these 24-hour sessions. Maybe you pop open a nice video to kind of take the mind at ease while you're 24 tabling. And I always wondered if the poker sites could see me watching that. And if that would affect. So you're saying you can be able to know that with the new software.
It's the new software. I have to look at it, and I will be able to if I want to. The fact is I know poker sites that you can, right?
They can see what they're doing and what they're looking at.
I know I've talked to players that have been banned because they were reading their Skype conversations.
What?
It's the fact that's a fact. When you've got an exe file on your computer, you're accepting some terms and conditions, right? I don't like to point fingers, but it's you know what's not fair. You know what's not fair is the I don't have all the answers, but right now the players don't even have all the questions.
Would you like to give them some questions?
Take a look. Take a look at take a look at real terms and conditions, right? As to what's acceptable and what's not acceptable on a poker site, right? It's when you just say agree to terms and conditions, you got to know who you're dealing with. It's when you go to Amazon, like one of the things that I always thought was really funny, but is actually really scary. A friend of mine left his computer open and his Amazon account open, and I went over and started searching adult toys on Amazon. And now at his computer, adult toys were chasing him around the internet everywhere that he went. And his wife was at, why does that keep happening? And it was just remarketing that Amazon saw that he was interested in that. It was in his shopping cart and then it was out of his shopping cart. And for a month he couldn't make it go away. Yeah, that's funny. But if Amazon can do that on other sites, and they're just a website, right? There's some stuff that can happen out there. Now,
what kind of adult toys was it? Was it just?
Well, I don't want to get into that.
Was like the feather? What were you looking?
It was definitely. It was definitely embarrassing for him, right? Okay.
Well, someone said, "When do we get the dildo avatar?" It's like maybe a new edition.
I can do that one. I can do that one.
We're bringing in. We got Kim Jong-un. We got Donald Trump. We're bringing in the dildo avatar in 2019. Look out, May 1st. New avatars coming to America's Card Room. One's going to be a computer replicating a bot. The other one is going to be a dildo. Perfect. Okay. I like this. All right. Nice. I like where we're going here.
I'll tell you what. It's funny that there's some things we can do, and there's some things that are like moving heaven and earth. The fact is, I wanted to put the Google CAPTCHA in our software a year and a half ago. It's the reality is the software that I have it's at the limits of what it can do. It's got 3.5 million lines of code, and it's adding things to it. This is why you don't have progressive knockouts, because I might break 400 other things. With the new software, basically I took a third of my life of experience and put it into the new software. Go download the beta so that I can watch that you're watching porn.
Downloading shit. What you talking about? I'm not downloading anything. What's going on?
No, the fact is the way it's set up now, I could see how anything that you have is interacting with the software. So for example, if you have something that's scanning a lobby, right, looking for something, if you have a seating script, I won't know what seating script you have. I don't need to know you're having it running in the background, but I know that the software is being interacted differently than a human could, right? I don't know any other poker site that's doing that. I'm pretty excited about that, and it's going to give us enough data points that we can start going after things. Is it perfect? No, right? But I've put a profit center. The sooner we catch bots, the more money we save. So the more money we save is the more money we make. So we're going to get better and better and better at it. I think it's a great business model that I put together. I have motivation to stop bots early and often.
I would assume so. I mean, listen, the incentive is that if the site's cleaned up, the American people come back to cash games, people start streaming more on the site, people start endorsing the site more. That's get rid of these guys.
That's one advantage, right? It's the other advantage is when you get so big that you make so much money, you can forget, right? And I've set it up that there's actual real penalties involved, right? That I can't forget. It's always going to be in my best interest to continue to do this. And I'll say it one more time. Thank you, Phil Galfond, for saying that there was nobody had these guys don't have a vested interest in doing any of this. And that's one of the reasons. And you know what? I really like the fact that he's getting into the poker industry, because the way he's doing the drop pots and I don't know if it's going to work or not. I'm going to watch it, but I really like that there's somebody that's really smart, doing something, doing whatever it is, it's doing something.
I believe Phil Galfond may have said that on my show, actually.
Oh, I saw you
podcast, Phil. You're a fan of the pod.
It was actually
podcast, Phil. I didn't know this. Damn, you're out there watching, man. That's nice.
It's the fact is I stopped watching everything for about a year, and I just focused on the business. It turns out, cryptocurrency, 2018, it was harder than it was before. Right. As a matter of fact, that's one of the things. I've went and spoke. I spoke at a couple of different gaming conferences talking about cryptocurrency, because I do believe that the gaming industry could really propel cryptocurrency to a whole different levels. And I just got a whole bunch of people that stared at me and went, I don't get it. Well, it's maybe I'll talk to you guys about it. The fact is 2017, when Bitcoin hit an all-time high, 2018, we did double the dollar volume in Bitcoin. And interestingly enough, almost 70% of our business comes from cryptocurrency now. We may be the biggest user case in the world for cryptocurrency.
The currency of the bots. I like the currency of the bots.
Yeah.
No coincidence, probably. I mean, listen, how do you think those guys get the money around? You know what happened with Ignition is when Ignition started allowing cryptocurrency, that's when all of a sudden the games got a little bit strange and maybe a little more bot accounts, and all the Eastern Euros and everything started showing up on the site, because now they could actually move money. Whereas before, when you could only wire your money to an account if you cashed out a lot of money, well, then the games were different. But once they allowed cryptocurrency, then all these overseas players started coming in, the bots came in. So that's what they did at Ignition. So shout out to
it's a lot of it's actually the reality is it's less crypto and it's more Skrill and NetTeller, right? They want it to be fast, and they want to deal with the variance either. One of the other things is an aha moment. Oh, there's light. One of the other aha moments I had recently is I believe the sites that are scraping sites and selling hand histories, I think those are the same people that are building bots, because you have to reverse engineer the software to be able to get those hand histories, and as a byproduct, you can make bots. Which ironically enough, the people who are buying hand histories from these sites are actually supporting bots. I'm trying to follow some of the money on some of those things to see how far that goes. But
I'm ready, Phil. I'm ready to step up, Phil.
Hey, I'll tell you what, if you want to get the dirty underbelly of the gaming world, I've been here for 16 years, and I'm definitely, you know what? I keep saying it. I'm not perfect, but I'm definitely one of the better guys that are in the gaming industry, whether you're talking about regulated or unregulated.
I'd like to pull up a quote that you mentioned before.
Oh dear.
Because you said you can quote me on this. I said in the video, I'm going to quote you on this, Phil.
Now we're
coming full circle where I'm now going to quote you on it.
Sure.
You said, I will make mistakes and I will ban real money players because they seem like bots. I don't recall any real money player ever coming forward and saying I was banned because I seem like a bot.
The fact is we didn't ban enough. We didn't ban enough people. We wanted to go after bots, and we realized that it's hard to differentiate them, and the manpower that it was taking, and it
seems like it should be a top priority. I don't get it. Like, manpower. Like, let's bring in someone dedicated that kind of understands. And okay,
not just someone. Right? Like you're talking, it's a lot of someone's. My security team is 11 people, and they're talking constantly. I have literally hundreds of videos that people have made. As a matter of fact, as we've started asking people, if we blur out your face, leave your screen name, and make some cuts to some of these videos, I want to post some of these videos after somebody's passed being a bot. So we've compared the stats. You've made a video playing this many hands. We're going to blur out your face. We'll leave your screen name, and we'll post that to show you that we're doing that we are working on this. If somebody says no, I don't want you to post a video, I can't do it anyway. But I think we have 3 or 4 different people that have already said, yeah, use my name, for sure, absolutely, that's great. So we have banned people for being bots. Mm-hmm. Oddly enough, it's even us is banning Russians. I don't know how many Russians or Latvians you talk to, but they're a lot of them are not frequenting. Yeah, and we have people who speak Latvian and Russian up in some of our other offices so that they can have these conversations with them.
Listen, Phil, I can find you a poker player that speaks any language in the entire world with one tweet or Instagram post. All right, you need someone that speaks Swahili. I'll get you someone that speaks Swahili. So
I need somebody that wants to move down here to Costa Rica and do this.
Now you're stretching out. We can outsource these guys. But you mentioned you have 11 security people at the ACR.
We have 11 security people, and that's all they do.
Standard? That seems like a low amount to have to. Are they not? Do they not look at the lobby or something? Do they not pull up the games? Or like what?
No. It's. I'm talking about just people that are reviewing videos. Just people that are.
Getting sent.
Huh?
How many videos are people sending you? Like a video that's going a lot of videos.
Oh, we've got a lot of videos.
Okay, I mean, I didn't know people were sending that many videos over.
It's the fact is when you ban your account and that's your livelihood, it turns out you send over a video and not a bot. It's really what's happening is we've even had some people try to act like they're that they are who they are.
Why wouldn't they? Well, of course, what else was the other option?
Yeah, they get a little tricksy. But again, the one thing that I haven't figured out how to beat and that I want to move more to is now that we're going to have with the new software, we'll have a complete mobile device. Is I can call you on WhatsApp, I can see you on video, I can call you on Signal, see you on video, and say, okay, I'm watching you on video. You're playing a hand. What was you folded that hand? What was your raising range there? Right?
Do you know the answer to questions like that, though?
What?
Do you know the answer to questions like this, though?
Well, I have hand histories.
Right.
I have hand histories on you, and always or nevers, and so like for example, you would have a tough time because you're not a bot saying that. Right. But your button raise versus 2 unknowns would depend on a lot of different things.
Right.
With a bot, I have a very, very specific range. Right. And you ask that person, what would be your range here? They're not going to be able to answer that. Right. And the
bots want to know, get in touch. I'll train you guys out there how to beat this checkpoint. Okay.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying is that's one of my biggest fears is we talk about this and it's
on their knowledge.
Yeah, it's brush up on their knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna keep getting better. And like I said, I'm proud of it, and I keep hitting home on it. It's in my best interest as far as I can put it right in my P&Ls that the faster we catch these guys, the less it's going to cost us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, there's one other subject I'd like to talk about, and that is the policing of the other skins that you have in the Winning Poker Network. So one skin specifically, Poker King, is where when we took a look at a lot of where these accounts were coming from on SharkScope, a lot of these accounts ended up opening on Poker King. And now go
ahead. Poker King only takes Russians.
Right. I'd like to pull something up from Poker King real quick.
Sure.
So I have I'm trying to pull this image up here. So I have an image right here. I just want to kind of get more clarification on the image. So here's the message from the CEO on the site. And now when you read this, is this supposed to be like this? So when you read the message from the CEO, it leads you to believe that this guy first of all, this isn't true because ACR does cater to professionals. He says they hijack the industry, preying on you, the recreational player. This is why my team and I designed the Poker King model to cater to recreational players. We believe, okay, so you go through here. So what I'm reading here is that Poker King's the one that came up with all these ideas. and now when you go through here, and I'll pull up one more data, and the sincerely Vinko Dobrosevic, you see that he also is the person that's in charge of the company that makes the software. So it seems like there's a little conflict. How can Phil Nagy understand what's happening when I'm reading this and I'm led to believe they came up with all these ideas right here. He said it right here, message from the CEO. So when I see that, and then I also see that he is the guy doing the software, I'm led to believe this is this the shot caller right here? Like what's, how much, what this guy on Poker King, what they're doing over there, if they're letting all these accounts come through.
So I bought Poker King, right? And I'm moving with the new software. I'll be moving Poker King service here. It's here in Costa Rica. They'll be moving to the new software platform, and I bought a portion of the software company, so I had controlling interest in the software because I didn't like the idea. This was 3.5 years ago. I bought controlling interest in the software because I didn't want anybody telling me. I didn't think anybody else could do it better. Software's hard. It's the message from the CEO. Yeah, I've never seen that before.
We should not trust this message from the CEO.
It's the fact is, I'm the CEO of Poker King. I'm changing their.
You got to update the website according to this. That's not. I don't know.
It's the fact is in the next 30 days, we're moving over to the new software platform. This was supposed to happen 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. It turns out that, I overestimated how fast the software was going to get where it's going. Right. And we've had to do the best we can with what we had, and the best we had, and you know what? It wasn't good enough. Mm-hmm. Right. We're getting there. I've got some of their customer service reps that I'm training them on the new back office, on the new tools here right now. We're slated to move on May 20th. Please work. And that's changing. And I will run. I'll run all of it. You know what? I'm going to bring up something else. It's somewhere around 8 months ago. I stopped letting Poker for You take deposits.
Well, another story. I forgot about them. Thanks for bringing those up.
No. I want to bring it up. It's about.
They were it's activity happening over there.
It was a skin that I inherited, right? And I don't really want to get into the political stuff behind it, but I didn't like what was happening, so I stopped all deposits coming from it, and I'm closing it completely, moving into the new software. I'm losing a lot of business out of that, and I don't care. Mm-hmm. The fact is I didn't have full control, and when you give control to somebody else and you have to trust somebody else, I didn't like the way it was being run. That's a fact. I don't know how many. I don't know how many people out there who have taken over. I don't know, a combination of 3 or 4 different businesses, kind of all came together between, Doyle's Room and True Poker, the Poker for You agent system, Poker King, and it all got mashed together, and I had to figure out how to make it make money, and I had to learn the software that we had. I had to learn all the partners that we had, and I've got rid of or bought out most of it, and now I'm in control of all of it. Right. I'll take full responsibility. And that's one of the reasons that when we say a cap, yes, that's a cap, because what I don't want to do is I can't put myself, you want me to continue to deliver to deal cards, right? I can't go so far as to put myself out of business.
Right.
But at the same time, I also look at it as I don't know, a penalty. There's no one else on the planet that's putting in writing that I'm going to charge myself this much if I screw up, right? Mm-hmm. And it's those Poker King accounts that were banned. Mm-hmm. That came out of my pocket, not Poker King. That came out of my pocket. Mm-hmm. Right. I'm taking full responsibility for all of that. We'll see how that works, but
I have two possible routes of a follow-up to what you just said, and I am going to choose the more conservative follow-up, and I'm going to move on from the subject because I don't really want to expand it anymore with you. Okay. All right, so let's give some shout outs in the chat. First off, if you guys are watching this, make sure you smash that like button. You know how YouTube is. Choke slam that bad boy. If you are going to deposit on ACR,
I'd like to press the like button. If
you're not depositing ACR, hit the like button. If you're cashing all your money out, smash that like button. Don't hate me. Hate my game. No, I'm just trying.
No. It's you know what? I will say, and before you get into this, I had a lot of anxiety coming on the show because I had no idea what direction this was going to go. I had no clue what the tempo of this conversation was going to go, and my hats off is you're not as horrible of a human being as I thought you were.
Perfect. What did you think? I was out to get ACR. I wanted to shut ACR. Like I heard rumor, like someone said I was getting paid by a rival site to bring ACR down. Like I was playing the site. Why would I not want bad players to come play with me?
I'll tell you what. I wish I would have gone to Machu Picchu a week earlier, right? And I would have been there for that conversation when you said that when you did hit me up. But you know what? Maybe I would have never got here because I would have never had an incentive to put together a transparent, verifiable, refund policy. And I want to do that with everything. I want to do that with slot machines. I want to do that with blackjack. I want to do that with everything. I don't want people to have to trust me. And you know what? When I set that standard for the rest of the industry, first of all, I'm already feeling some pain. I've already been targeted. I'm sure that'll come out a little later by one of the bigger sites, and I'm losing business because of it. So no, it's going to be bad. It's the things that I'm doing for some of these other sites to copy what I'm doing would be, it's tens of millions of dollars from their bottom line. But we'll get into that later. I need to see how big it's going to get.
So you said a site is coming out. I imagine a site's coming after you.
I've got emails to my affiliates saying specifically that if you're dealing with America's Card Room, you can't deal with us.
Oh, interesting.
And that's been since I've put out my transparent refund policy, and this is not a site that takes U.S. players, and it's not it's not a site that there's no incentive other than they don't want to be compared to this.
Makes sense. Makes sense. You have a shout out you want to give Phil? We customarily let all the guys get. This is a little different than the normal podcast. Normal podcast, we're smiling, we're having a good time, we're sipping some margaritas, something like that. We got to give some shout outs. Phil, you have a shout you want to give somebody out there?
I'd love to give a shout out to all the guys that have come down to the cage and have done the tour of the offices.
This is perfect. I'd love to talk about them more.
Let's talk about them.
Phil, listen, this is one of the funniest things I've ever seen. All right. So you have these guys, some of the ambassadors for the site, I think they are. And then they go down to the offices, right? And then they go on Instagram and they're like, yeah, I went down there. I took a look around. Security's strong. Like everything's on the up and up. Nothing to worry about. Like, first of all, what do they step into a door? They open the door. Oh, computers. Oh, there's 11 guys. What are they basing this off of? That, security's on the up and up because I saw 11 guys in a room, and then they put it on their social media for people out there to this baffles me. Like, the guy goes down there. He's like, no, I saw the security. It's good. It's like, you didn't see shit. What are you talking about right now, bro? I mean,
it's the fact is on average, we do ban somewhere around 60 accounts weekly. Right. It's that being said, have some got past us? Have some passed? Have we been bamboozled? Absolutely. Absolutely.
What's happening with the ambassadors going down there and saying that? Is that what they get paid to? They get paid to say up and up?
No. It's the fact is when people are down here, I give them a tour of the company. I give them a presentation. We introduce them to some of the people here in the offices, and we show them what we do for a living. And we're not this. You know what? That we're not. I said you never know. Maybe a poker site is 7 guys around a conference table. We're a 3-story building, and we got 175 people here in the building. Are we perfect? No. Right? Can I throw enough money at this? Can I throw enough bodies at this to solve it? Absolutely, I believe so. Is it going to happen tomorrow? I hope so, but I don't think so. I think it's going to take some time, and it's going to take some blood, sweat, and tears. But I think listening to the customers and talking, having a dialogue like this will change everything.
I hope so. You give interesting answers, Phil. You start off going down this street, and then you make a few turns down some other streets. Shout out
to all the guys that came down to the cage. Okay. Shout out to all the guys that came down to the cage.
There you go.
Right. Cool. And it's you know what? Shout out to all the players that stuck with us. Right. I really appreciate it, and a special shout out to
me for bringing this to light.
Well,
thank you.
Well, while I don't agree with how you brought it here, I don't know that I would be right here. I wouldn't be right here right now if you wouldn't have.
Thank you.
Right. It's that hurt a little bit. Let me give me just a second. I've really hated you for a long time, and for all the wrong reasons. At the end of the day, I do believe we want the same thing, right? Let's. I won't stop talking to you if you don't stop talking to me.
Had some women propose a similar situation in my life, and never turned out well, Phil. But listen, I'm willing to go back again. I learned my lessons from the past, and I want to make America. Listen, I get so many players say they want to play poker. They love playing. Where should I play? Should I play on Rigged Global? Should I go to the fucking PP Poker app and deposit through the Poker King, who's going to take my money and buy rims for his Bentley? It's like the options for Americans out there are scarce. They're not good. It's not good. So if we can have a site that at least has a chance to help players out and give them a chance to play, and as we know, ACR has the biggest guarantees out there. So
you know what? What can I do? And you know what? We can follow this up on Twitter. We don't have to do it right now. Mm-hmm. What can I do to start earning your trust and confidence? And how can I be transparent and verifiable about it?
Once I see that there's not 4 ECN bots at the PLO tables, that's when I That's when I start taking notice of that. Yeah.
I'll tell you what. Here's the one thing. Here's the one thing I'll guarantee. I won't let people change their username. No, I won't let people change their username, and I won't remove countries from the nameplates. Right. So if I stay, if I let people change their username, it solves all my problems. Because now there's no hand histories and you and
what do you mean what party poker's doing? Oh, okay.
I'm not going into any of that.
Okay.
Right. If you don't have hand histories, then the public can't police it.
Oh, interesting.
Right.
Site would make a change like that. What would a site make a change like that for?
I think they're trying to level the playing field.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all fine and dandy, but poker's not about leveling the playing field. Poker's stupid if there's no winners and there's no losers, right? It's
true.
That's why we do it. It's because
millions of people on Zynga Poker would then argue with you on this one because they play poker for
you know what? It's they're playing poker for a different reason. Zynga Poker tried to make it real money and couldn't do it, right? So those people are socializing. They're not playing poker. I'm talking about poker players. You got to have a winner and you got to have a loser, and that's what makes poker poker. And you got to keep it transparent. You gotta let the players say that there's something fishy going on here, and it's as a company, it's hard to face the fact that you got beat. Well, we're gonna get beat, but at least you're gonna be able to tell me about it.
Mm-hmm. Is there any option for American-only tables on the site for Americans that want to play with other Americans?
How soon do you want it? I can do it in 30 minutes.
How soon do I want it? Oh no! How soon do I want American?
What stake do you want?
Wow, what stakes do we want for American-only tables? I mean, we got to start. What if we start small? 1, 2, 2, 4, 3, 6. Start the mid stakes. See how those operate.
Dan, start making ACR only tables. Right? It's what he just said.
So Americans only on
it'll be America's Card Room only tables first.
Okay.
Right? So there won't be any Poker King. There won't be any Black Chip. There won't be any of that. Right.
Okay.
After that, there'll be some development to happen to be able to get anything else. Right. But I can definitely have America's Card Room only, which 95% of the players that play at America's Card Room are US facing. So you may see some Canadians. Right. If there's, you know what? I'll have my security police it. If you see anybody that's not from the US, we'll ask them to not play at those tables or we'll ban you. Done. It's going to be done in 30 minutes. I'm telling you, I really, really, really want to make people happy.
Okay.
Right? And I'm going to do everything I can do to do it.
Let's come to. I like it. The VPNs are already getting the VPNs are already getting loaded up, huh? We know how Americans are. They're not really necessarily. This is America's Card Room, guys. All right, listen, I'm happy now. All right, I'm happy, smiling. I'm having a good time, joking around, telling some jokes. I'm happy right now. Very happy right now. Very happy right now. I got a couple. Where would you rank ACR in the grand scheme of things in terms of poker sites right now? Would you say top 2, top 3, up there behind a site like PokerStars, or I'm not even sure if you'd put PokerStars at the top.
I guess you'd have to have a few different categories. It's for the sites that what I know about them. I see Party Poker trying really hard, and I like to see them trying really hard. I think they're spending too much to try to get there. I think PokerStars year on year has lost about 10% of their overall liquidity. But their profit margins have gone up, significantly. Right. It's GG Poker Network. I've talked to them. I don't like their business model because it's 600 skins, different things, and that's really hard to manage. As a matter of fact, I'm with the new software. There's a lot of business decisions to be made, but eventually people will just have one winning account, and you can play on any skin with that one account. So you won't be able to have multiple accounts. Mm-hmm. It's just easier to manage, right? But I need to have different brands for different markets. So you'll have one winning account. We're pretty good, but it's again, I don't know how good, you know what? I'll tell you, you know what everybody else is better at? Marketing. Everybody else is better at marketing than we are. It's the fact is we've got, you know, some of the really, like you said, the beast in my opinion, anyway, for somebody who likes to grind, who plays poker, is just one of the greatest things of all time. And we're just not very good at saying how great it is. The tables are up already. ACR only 1, 2, 2, 4 up right now. What are the names of the tables, if you could tell me, so that people can look at it. Right. Now I did that just because I'm willing to change. Mm-hmm. I am willing to change. The name of the table is ACR only. Okay. You guys tell me. It's okay. I was really close to banning banning Latvia as a whole, but then I got, I don't know, a dozen videos of real players that showed me their videos, and their stats were very similar, and they're real players, and they can't play anywhere else. Right. It's that, you know, that sucks to do to a poker player. Right. Mm-hmm. So I didn't ban Latvia. Are we checking every single last account? Absolutely. Right. Eventually some things we've kicked around. We've talked about having like certified accounts where you have to be a certified account to be able to sit at certified tables.
I like that.
And if your IP address changes or your MAC, anything changes, you lose your certification and you have to recertify your account. We've talked about doing some stuff like that. We're going to kick some stuff around. It's really hard. We're going to start listing out all the problems that we have and discussing with the customers. You only have so many resources. You can only do so many things at one time. What's the most important thing to tackle first? And we'll start going down the list. So there's your ACR tables.
Okay.
Right? What's next?
I don't know. People give me ideas. Apparently they're making some change right now. I don't know.
This is what I'm saying. I'll tell. Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, it's everybody out there. I'm not asking for customers. I'm asking you to keep watching. Right. And if you'd have me back in 60 days, in 90 days, in whenever, I'd be happy to come back, and we'll take a benchmark of where we're at right now. And I'll list out the changes that have happened since then. And you guys tell me. Right. And when you feel good enough to play with us, then come back. But eventually we will be the best poker site in the world. I don't know if we'll be the biggest, but we'll be the best.
Determined to be the best. What qualifies as the best to you?
You know what? And this is going to say at the risk of sounding like completely lame. I want to be a poker site that my kids are proud that their dad runs them. Mm-hmm. Right. My son's 8 years old, and I didn't want him looking on the internet saying your dad's a cheat. So yeah, that's why we're going to be the best, because that really sounds midlife crisis-y. I don't care if we ever get any bigger. I'm pretty happy with where we're at. I really like the idea of just being the best at anything. Isn't that cool?
I guess so. Yeah. Why not? I mean, that's the best poker podcast. So
see, there you go. How's it feel?
Feels great, Phil.
Good.
Feels fucking great. Feels great when they nominated me for that poker award, at the poker awards the other day too. It felt real great. Oh wait, they didn't nominate poker. They nominated for fucking vlogger. So yeah, it felt great, Phil. Don't worry.
Good. It's and again, right?
Top bot hunter.
Top bot hunter. It's and away from the stream. I would really like to sit down with you and go over some stats and see if I'll pay for it, right? But I'd like to get better faster. Mm-hmm. And if there's some of the guys out there that'll talk with us, that'll work with us, I need the insight. I want to get it done faster.
Mm. I'll keep an open mind, Phil. Listen, let's see what happens. All right. See what happens. Right. My faith level. We'll see what happens, sir. Okay. We'll see what happens.
Okay.
Suggestions about muck cars. They want to see muck cards in the chat. Some people are saying.
Done. It already works in the new software.
Okay. Making changes. All right. Muck cars are good. All right. Just like other sites. Perfect. Let me find some other suggestions here. ACR only is just for PLO, not Hold'em. Oh, wait. He wants that for Hold'em tables, he means. I thought he wanted to eliminate Hold'em.
Dan, add him to Hold'em too.
All right. Dan's going to add him for Hold'em. Nice work. All right. Making changes here. Hold on a second. Let me find some more. The best equals longest late registration for 5 hours. Yeah. What's the late registration status like on the site? I remember you can register for 25 years into the tournament.
Okay. Let me make a point very, very, very clear. Right. If you have 1,000 people enter a tournament in the very first minute with 1,000 chips apiece, the tournament is going to end at the very same level as if you have 1,000 people register over the next 6 hours. The big blinds the average stacks are going to be the same. If you want little tiny guarantees, then we can get rid of the long late registrations. But everybody likes big guarantees. I don't have the player base. And you know what? Sadly enough, poker players show up when they have to.
Mm-hmm. Why would they not? Why would they show up otherwise?
Right. Well, I'm saying is, okay, well, it's I could show up. They show up when they're damn well ready, I guess. I don't know. I've tried. I put up some tournaments with 1 hour late registration, and nobody wants to play them. They just don't get the prize pools. So it's if somebody's got a better idea, if you'd like smaller prize pools, hey, I can just get rid of the guarantees, put everything at once, and that is, I spent $18 million last year in overlays. It was my single biggest line item expense.
Is it public on how much ACR makes? That's not a public company, so there's not public like PokerStars is, right?
No.
Okay.
But I did. But you can look back at all the tournaments. I did spend $18 million in overlays.
Mm-hmm.
Ouch.
The people are asking for more than 11 security people.
Okay.
The number up to 22.
It's the fact is it's oddly enough, I've got 15 people in training right now. You have to train some people, even though they work for another unsaid poker company. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we're staffing up, and that's my first thing is I'm throwing bodies at things to help to solve the problem. And once we solve the problem that way, then we're going to look to get more technical, because the software takes longer. Right, it's throwing bodies at it and putting a human in between some of this stuff. Mm-hmm. It's gonna be a quick fix.
So I'm assuming this is the PokerStars old offices, correct?
Oh, am I supposed to say that? Yeah, it is the old PokerStars offices.
PokerStars to shut down Costa Rica office. Phil, I'm a professional investigator, buddy. Professional. Yeah. I'm on the case. I'm on the case, Phil. I'm on the case. PokerStars shutting down his offices. America's Card Room's taking over. About 300 people work in the office. Oh my God, are you for real?
Yeah,
a number are likely to lose their jobs. Some are coming to ACR like that. I actually sat down with their HR department. I got all the CVs, and I did an open house here at our offices. I walked through a lot of the X-Stars people and said, "This is who we are. This is who we plan to be. This is what we're doing." And it's a lot of these people are really excited to come work with us. Very nice. There's a couple other suggestions here. PMAR says, do they have user groups where they can put only people with U.S. addresses and limit the new tables to those user groups? Technically, I don't have a U.S. address, I believe. That might actually not be good for my account. But question, do they have user groups where they can put only people with U.S. addresses and limit the new tables to those user groups?
I could do that. That's kind of what you were talking about, right? With the ACR.
Right.
It's right now. I technically I can't stop somebody from. I can't segregate different countries from doing that.
Okay.
That could be a feature that we build in. Like I said, is we're going to have humans. If you see somebody at the ACR only tables that are not from the U.S., as a matter of fact, I'm going to have them rechange those tables to U.S. only, right? So that people don't miss it. And that's just I really hate geo saying. I mean, I'm not saying that other countries. I mean, you know what? I have some friends. I live in Costa Rica. And there's people from other countries that are okay. I'm doing this just to point out that we can do these things. Whether they're right or not, I don't know.
You don't have to go through the powers that be to be able to
make it happen.
We can make it happen.
No, it just happens. No.
Lightning Poker says, add join your donation, $5. Thank you, Lightning Poker says, add join your money to the ACR Twitch stream, team, group, Skype chat. That's a long name.
I don't know what you just said.
He said, add me to the ACR Twitch stream, team, group, Skype chat.
You're going to have to talk to the head of the Stormers, right? And they can do that. I think Jason is his name.
Okay. I'm liking this, Phil. We're making some change happening here.
It's if you use Discord, Joey, right? I can send you the Discord group that we use, and there's a few different sub chats in there that with software improvements, reported bots. Hey, it's different subjects in there, and we've got a number of people here in the office that check it. Not just customer service, not just, but again, we got a lot of ears here, and we want a lot of people listening.
Amen. A couple other suggestions from the chat here. I got to give some shout outs. I'm getting.
Go give your shout outs.
Well, I want to. My man KL said, any chance of cross skin fund transfers?
That'll happen when there's one WPN account. When you have one winning account, cross skin transfers, the way that the software was designed is that they basically, you as a business don't want the other businesses to know your player's email, your player's personal information. It's a trust thing. Since I've actually purchased all the skins and I own all the skins, that doesn't need to happen anymore, right? But there's also partnerships. Let's say you're an affiliate and your player plays on Black Chip, but now he also plays on ACR. So who gets the commissions now? Lifetime. So I have a lot of business decisions that I have to do, and yeah, it's gonna be hard.
A lot of hard work coming up here.
Yep. A
lot of hard work. PMAR says, is he now open to outside game integrity / fraud experts coming in to look over their policies / tools to help them with both proactive and reactive detection and pay for them for their time?
I'll tell you what is I'm open to anything that makes sense. It's the fact is the rules that I have is the things that we do have to be provable and they have to be transparent. Right. I definitely do not like the idea. I've had a few different people come in to me and say, if you just give us all your hand histories, we can tell you who bots are. You know what? That is entirely too much power to put in anybody's hands. Right. And I don't trust you enough to do that. I don't trust anybody enough to do that.
Mutual,
right?
Mutual feeling.
And you wouldn't want me to trust. You wouldn't want me to trust that to anybody.
I trust Phil Galfon with that information.
You know what? I'll tell you what. If there's a way, talked about like and this is kind of theoretical, adding like call it a blockchain name to a user so that the people can't actually know what the username is, and then being able to go through the hand histories that way. So it's like a hashed username kind of thing. We've talked about some of that kind of stuff. It's now with the new software, the way it's all designed, I'm going to have everything here, and I'll be able to do things like that. So maybe I can make it provably transparent like that for all of the players. you'll know what your name, you'll know what yours is. And you can check it's all of your stuff, and you can look at everybody else, but you won't know what screen name that is.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Jay Smith, ask him why the double or nothing when you bust and an MTT still shows up even when you disable it. I told him about it in Costa Rica. He asked me to send proof, and I did.
Yeah. What happens is that won't happen in the new software. What happens is you disable it and then it'll be gone for a while. But when they do an update, it undisables. I swear it's not personally. I made it disable because I don't want it there. But every time they do an update, it undisables. So I'm sorry. I've got another month before I'm on the new software.
We're going to give people a chance to gamble away their money if they want to on the double or nothing, guys.
I'll tell you what.
ACR, Phil, come on, buddy. You gotta get, these degenerates, you know, they need that hit. They need that. How convenient it comes back.
Yeah, it's awful. It's awful.
Do you speak Spanish, Phil?
Very, very little. I can speak food Spanish if you can't tell.
Food Spanish, like enchiladas.
Yeah, I can order food almost anywhere in Spanish. The rest of it, not so much.
Danny So Sick says he donates €5 to me and it's a shout out, please. Always wanted to, and it would be a dream come true. Listen, Danny, today your dream comes true on the Poker Live podcast with the guest Phil Nagy coming in here, sitting down in the hot seat with me and with everyone else around the poker world, watching executives from around the poker world, players from around the poker world. Danny, this is your time to shine, buddy. Thank you very much. Bam. Boom. I like that. Let me go through here, see if I see anything else in here. I hear, can we please get micro US only tables too? I hear a question from Net Buff Dish.
Yeah, I can get some micro tables in there. As a matter of, we'll put mid stakes, micro, and small stakes. No problem.
Perfect. P. Marsout says thanks. I'll message him on Skype after your podcast. Boom.
So I have a question. I haven't tried to sell anything, right? Thus far.
Do I have an affiliate link for this before you go? Is this a paid?
No.
Or for this paid sponsorship, paid advertisement here? I'm kidding. Go ahead. What is it?
I have an idea, and I want to see if you guys think it's retarded or not. I want to start offering nano stakes, right? Where a penny would be the equivalent of 100 big blinds. Okay. So for $1, you'd have 100 buy-ins and have the smallest stakes in the world and make it the cheapest place to learn to play poker. Is that dumb?
I think that sounds great.
Okay. It's for those of you who think it's good, either give Joey a shout out.
I think it's a great place to learn. I mean, I think there should be lower stakes for live poker as well for PLO too, because it'd be a good place for new players to learn.
I want to make nano stakes so that, if you go through this, watch this video or do this, I can give you 10 cents in your account, and that's 10 buy-ins, and you can start to learn to play. I want to offer the lowest stakes in the world. It'll be a net cost for us because just the internet alone will cost more than it could ever make. But I think it's at that point, you don't have a problem referring somebody over to learn to play poker. And I think that's where we could possibly go after the Zynga model. That's coming in the new software.
Doesn't sound bad, Phil. Doesn't sound bad. So. I gotta say, it doesn't sound bad. Could be a good place for new players to learn the great game of Pot Limit Omaha. Are you a Pot Limit Omaha player yourself?
Did you watch me play Pot Limit Omaha in the cage?
I cannot say that I took that broadcast in. No.
I'll tell you what. If anybody did, they'll realize how bad I am at Pot Limit Omaha. I do enjoy it. But I am a lifetime loser. We play 5-5 down here at the local Sheridan, and I played the cage, and I lost to Jeff Boski of all people.
Your boy.
Yeah. I lost almost a $40,000 pot to Jeff. Yeah, that was dirty. I hated it.
Did you think about firing him after you lost the pot to him?
No, but it was kind of cool that he walked away and was going, it's so, because we with the PLO cage, we ran it twice it wasn't an option. Every hand, when any two people are all in, you ran it twice every time. Kind of cool. It was kind of cool, right?
What do you think about the development of the high stakes ecosystem for PLO on the site, because I know a lot of PokerStars regulars have started coming over and playing the 51 tables and the 25-50 tables.
Yeah, it's. I think they like the fact that we're paying out quickly. I think they like the fact that we're providing high stakes, and I think we have to get better. I'll tell you that my biggest fear, right, is, well, we're dealing with the bot issue, and that's one issue. It's one of my biggest fear is now that we do have so much of the high stakes, is the collusion, because poker players are smart, and finding those collusions in the high collusion in the high stakes is going to be the next big challenge that we have. If you notice that the 50-100 table, there's only one. It doesn't recreate because we watch it really closely. If it ever was like 10 tables, I just wouldn't have enough smart people to be able to watch it, and that's why I leave it at one table.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Why do you think the bots don't play those high stakes games?
Well, because especially with like the rat hole table, because there's not a bot that's programmed to start with 10 big blinds or knows how to play 500 big blinds deep. It's just a different game. And the fact is, the variance is super high, and you're thinking about things that how often do you play 500 big blinds deep? Right. And you're a regular PLO player. It's essentially a different game. I definitely think as far as WPN goes, I'd love to sit down with some of the poker players and change some variants of the games. One of the things that we talked about was bomb pots. If I don't know if you know what bomb pots are.
I played those times, yeah.
Right. We talked about site wide, twice an hour or 3 times an hour. Every table becomes a bomb pot. Well, that's just going to screw up every bot that there is, because what just happened? How did this even? We've talked about missed deals, right? Like in live poker, you have a missed deal. It's if the bot reads the old cards that it has, or doesn't know what the burn card is, doing things like that to screw it up. We really do talk about a lot of these things, and with the new software, just to give you, and I'm putting a lot on the new software because I've spent so much time and money on it. Just to give you an idea of the things that we will be able to do is Sit and Go 2.0, the greatest sit and go thing. If you were one of the 3 people that played it, it seemed like a really good idea. It took us 8 months to develop that. The same type of feature is going to take us somewhere around 3 weeks. So we'll be able to develop things that I'm talking about very quickly. And I think that's what's going to give us an edge on bots. And the next thing that I really want to go after is collusion, because that scares me.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, yeah, it definitely seems like you have a lot of good ideas, but putting a stop to these bots that have been running rampant for millions of hands on the site and taking away millions of dollars from players certainly should be the number one priority to me. So
that's where
I don't know what happened. It froze. Why is it coming back?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, he's back.
I'm here.
Okay, it froze a little bit there.
If I go faster, closer to the microphone.
You sound like you're doing ASMR. You know what ASMR is, Phil?
No, I have no idea.
Phil, you know Randall Emmett is, and have you followed the Randall Emmett 50 Cent beef at all?
I have not. I literally just started using Twitter just the other day. Right. I haven't followed much.
Okay, you're good. That's good. Don't ever find out the answer to that question.
Okay.
All I know is Randall said to call him. Maybe we get a podcast this week, guys. But tomorrow, Sean Deeb, Tuesday, 2 p.m. Eastern time. Lex Feldhouse, Wednesday, guys, 2 p.m. Eastern time. We might get a podcast later in the week. I'm going to try to get Antonio Sfandiari. He just won his boxing match against Kevin Hart. Try to get him on the podcast. And also reach out to Randall and see what the hell is going on with him and 50 Cent. F-O-F-T-Y. I agree. Shout outs in the chat, guys. Who we got out there right now? Evan Kravner. What's up, Evan? What's going on, bro? Who else we got in the chat right now? Andrew L. Alex Foxton, that was last week, buddy. Last Tuesday we had Foxing on. It's on my YouTube channel right now. Nick Triangle, what's up, Nick? Craig 5835, Tom 46427, Jamie Evans out there. Kid Neal, Jamie, easier said than done, Lionel Cox, Jamon Burton, Rachel Lees, Evil Invaders, a lot of people out there, holy shit. Okay, Clint Richardson, Team Grips Poker, what up, Grips? What's happening, brother? JBJ, Matt Lipinski, Jay Smith, Bobby, Nova, Troy, Phil, Ghost, Pop B, Harbs, VIP Grinders. Holy crap, I'm moving too fast. I can't do it. Oh my God, I'm not that fast at this. Ruben Costa, Deli Howe, Yob, 7-4, Ryan Hiller, Mike Ray. You got any more shout? You already gave your shout outs, right?
You know what? I'd like to say to my kids, hey guys,
watching.
That's about it. And you know what? I'm hearing back in the background, the people here at WPN, they are super pumped right now because this is who we are. And I've had my head in the sand.
Like street where you put the phone up and they're, yeah, we got some fucking UFC tables only. Like what's happening?
No. When it's the fact is if you spend a week down here, right? You realize that we're a company that somebody likes to work for. If we're doing something wrong, it's because we're good folks, and everybody down here is really pumped that we're having this conversation.
Are they?
Yeah, absolutely.
Some other sites have been watching this too, so shout out to them as well. I'm sure anytime you get a CEO of a poker site on, and I think the other people in other poker sites are taking notice, trying to see. I just heard Party Poker just added nano stakes. Is that it? No, I'm just making that tweet out. Actually, not.
That would be so awesome. I'll tell you what, I'm going to be open about the features that we're going to release. And you know what? If your competitors have to look at your backlog to figure out what they're going to do, you've already won.
Do you think there might ever be webcam tables where you can play against each other on the webcam and you get to see the person?
I don't see why not.
Would that play? You think people would play that?
I don't think people would play that.
Talk some shit. You'd like that'd be a lot of fun.
We've actually talked about being able to, in like heads up. It's with some of these matches and everything where you're playing heads up and you can maybe press a button and record a message to the guy that you're playing with, but only when it's heads up. So I think that would be super, super fun.
Interesting. Why not? I mean, like I said, the ideas are great. I like them. I just want to make sure we put some security in place to take care of the bots, take care of the.
I'll tell you what. You're not seeing any of these features until I have enough resources dealing with those other things, because you're right. There is nothing more important.
We got any more questions out here, chat? Anything else on your mind, Phil? Anything you'd like to ask me potentially?
You tell me when you want me back, right? Mm-hmm. I'd like a good 60 days. Okay. And you ever want to come down here to Costa Rica? Give me 90 days to get settled into my new offices. I'd love to walk you through and show you what we do and introduce you to some of the people. It's the last two cages we're going to do are PLO. It's come on down. We'll do something. And then the only thing that I'll ask is you give an honest opinion of what you saw.
Interesting. Maybe that might be an idea. Coming down to Costa Rica, I might not leave Costa Rica, Phil. I heard Costa Rica got a lot of a lot of everything. A lot of everything. A lot out of line, a little inline, mamacita.
I'll tell you.
Papito.
You know what the big thing about Costa Rica is, if you have any life leaks, they're going to be exploited. Other than that, it's amazing. I can't think of a better place to live.
William Haney 86. Joey, please ask him what his plans are in addressing the atrocious customer service Phil has at his site. The customer reps are downright rude and treat the customers like crap. Now, I have seen a lot of these representatives, in fact, treat some people poorly through the chats and stuff like that. So have you heard anything about this at all, or if this has just come to your attention at all?
You know, I'll tell you, it's every other site, and I go back and forth with this. Every other site is got rid of the live chat and the phones, because generally you get people that are heated. Yeah, it's about something, and when you're put on stress, it's hard to calm people down and give an answer that they want. We thought about going just to email, and if we went to just email, a lot of that would go away. But I still feel like having that instant response outweighs that. If you're decent, if you're nice to the customer service rep, they're a real human being as well, right? Berating the crap out of them is not going to get you something done faster. We have some of the best customer service reps here, and they love taking care of customers as best they possibly can. As it turns out, if your Bitcoin deposit or withdrawal has taken 20 minutes longer than what you think it should be, you're not the happiest person in the world. It's hard to deal with that. So I think our customer service is good. It's definitely hard.
Is the customer service, are they based out of is that the 300 employees?
No, they're right here in our building.
They're in the building?
I go sit with them and listen to calls pretty regularly.
Interesting. Do you ever go on a call for fun?
It's absolutely.
Phil Nagy here. What's your problem?
It's the fact
they beat me. Ace is the king. Like my ace is lost again. The king. Is that what happens on there?
It's the fact. The fact is I got on with a guy the other day where somebody was theoretically coaching somebody else, and he called in and said that this guy that I was coaching was on Team Viewer, and I sat him, and I didn't know it was him. And I said, I got to get in on this. Yeah, this is crazy. So you're the coach. I'm the student.
Okay.
You've let me team viewer your session because you're teaching me. Mm-hmm. And you don't know that I'm the guy that's sitting down and that you're playing against. So I talked to the guy and I said, and we said, do you have any transfers from the person? Do you have any chats from the person? Do you have any? And he didn't have anything. And where's our liability there? Where's our liability? I had the other guy. I had his payout on hold for a couple of days, and I sent him a message and said, I have to send him his money. You don't have any payment from this person. You don't have any chats from this person. You don't have anything from this person, but we deal with this stuff, right? It's crazy, right?
Right. Got a question from the chat. Michael Sutton. Michael Sutton asks, please ask why the casino is a third-party site and not ran by WPN. We deserve rakeback for betting over 100,000 in the casino.
No. It's both the sports book and the I don't no affiliates get anything from it, and I don't give any rewards to it. I also don't push people to go to it. It's if you've never been to the sports book or the casino, I don't constantly berate you with that. The sports book and the casino is one of the reasons that I can offer good rake back, that I can offer the things that I offer. Right. I have my profit centers, and I try to give as much back as I can for poker.
Okay. Took Your Cookie says, can I get my $14,000 from when Doyle's Room sold to ACR? I won an Aussie Million satellite ownership transfer, and I was never paid. I spoke to CEO.
Wow. I would like to talk to you about that. There was I don't remember who it was, but I remember there was something going on, and I would like to talk to him about that. Joey, if you could send him my Skype, or you could send me his information, right? I'd be happy to talk to him about that.
At Joey Ingram One, or at Instagram Poppy GTO, making moves out here. Cookie, I'm taking 10% though. Cookie, all right? Sure it happens. Okay, 10%. No, I'm kidding. I'm not in it for the money, Phil. I'm over here beating down a crazy man in my fucking bedroom, second room doing podcasts. You know what I'm saying, Phil? I don't know.
I'm picking up what you're laying down. I'm going
full-time MMA. Fuck this.
Here's I'm going to give an admission, right? My guilty pleasure is, I was watching Poker Go, and I was watching you guys, you play with Phil Galfond and some of the other people on Poker Go. And I wasn't rooting for you, but it's well done. That was done. I am disappointed that they called it an elevator instead of a cage, right? But whatever. Right? No. Well, it's the whole elevator thing they do where it starts out with blinds and it goes up.
Oh, I don't. They had that some few months back, right?
Right. We were first to come out with that. They could have called it. They could have given some kind of props, right? We get nothing. I get no respect. I'm like Rodney Dangerfield.
You're like Rodney. I mean, that's like, yeah, I feel like some people do have issue because you're operating outside of the regulation, or and that sort of thing like that. I don't necessarily think that people are always very fond of that. I
got a question. Okay. And this is something that you can think about, you can talk about, whatever you'd like to do. It's at Black Friday, there was no new laws that changed. There's not been a law changed about online poker aside from Nevada, New Jersey, and now Pennsylvania. That when PokerStars, the only thing is they got their URLs taken because they were banking in Utah. You'll never get a check from me from the States ever. Right. So I'm like the old PokerStars, in my opinion.
Is that a question?
Yeah, I'm asking you. Why is it different now?
I don't know. I mean, you might know more about that. I don't try to speak on things I'm not very knowledgeable about, and I'm not very knowledgeable about why it's different.
Take a look at it. There's no laws been changed.
Interesting.
It is. It is.
Maybe a next investigation. Took your cookie. Donated $50. Said thank you. How do I get in touch with this guy? Like I said, message me on Twitter @JoeIngram1 or on Instagram @PopBGTO or on Facebook Joe Ingram. I'll get you in touch with Phil. I'll get you a Skype, and we'll make it happen, man. We'll definitely make it happen. That sounds good, man. Yeah, that sounds good. The U.S. does what it wants, huh? Does what it wants when it wants.
I'll tell you what, I'm a pretty big proponent of if they did legalization properly, poker could be really, really good in the US. Unfortunately, the way the Wire Act's going and with the sports book and casino and the way they're legalizing it, I don't have any hopes anytime in the real near future. I don't see it happening.
Okay. I like that. I feel like I ran through. I have 2 notepads here of things. I feel like I ran through most of my things on here. We didn't really talk about that, but that's okay.
I'll tell you what. Keep all those, and next time we come on, if things haven't changed, then huh?
You resign?
I don't know if I can do that, but it's.
Maybe you agree. I don't know. I don't know. You resign, but I mean, if you put that pressure on yourself and that say, hey, I'm either quitting my job or I'm gonna make some fucking changes, or we're gonna clean this place up, get rid of these fucking bots, get them out of here.
Well,
PO bots out of this place.
I'll tell you what.
I'm fired up, all right. And maybe you say that. Then you know what I'm saying?
I'll tell you what. It's what I'd love is I'd love to find a way that we can say that's not a bot.
I'd love that too. I'd love that too. I just broke my necklace. I'm fired up. I'm slamming down on here. I just clean it up. Get rid of them. You know what I'm saying? Strangle them. Let's put them outside and bash them with the baseball bat.
We want the same thing, brother.
What about verified tables for people too? Where you have to be, you mentioned that earlier, the verified, you have to be a verified person to be playing on here.
Yeah. I definitely would love to do that. There's some work that goes into that, and then some ongoing work to make sure that it stays that way.
Okay, good.
But together we'll figure out what that is.
Sounds like something Obama said during his presidency.
Yeah, hey, you know what? I don't have all the answers, but I'm going to bring up all the questions and we'll figure it out. First one is we're already at the first one, and we'll move on from that afterwards.
Cool. That sounds good. Jay Smith, get 25 NL and 50 NL ACR only tables too. He might as well do all of them.
I'll tell you what. You heard the man.
Is he listening?
Yeah.
What's this other gentleman's name?
Oh, it's Dan downstairs.
Dan downstairs?
He's watching.
Dan downstairs in the podcast, maybe. Maybe Dan downstairs come on.
There's nobody else that really likes the idea of going on camera.
Oh, okay. How convenient, huh?
Well, it's not really convenient. If you were sitting down here, would you?
Well, me personally, I would, yeah.
Well, if it's after you're working for me.
I mean, I'm pretty crazy, so I probably would. Why not?
Okay, maybe so.
I'm
maybe
not.
so.
I made crazy videos. I dedicated months of my time to this entire thing, so I'm nuts.
There you go.
I smashed my bracelet on the chair. I'm a little out there sometimes. Okay, I'm passionate about the game. I'm passionate about the great game. I'm passionate about poker, and you know, it is what it is.
Let me see if I can make it worthwhile. Let me see if I can make it all worth it.
All right, guys, we're going to wrap things up. We're going to be back tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern time. I'm going to put some clips up on my social media if you want to follow those. I'm also going to post this on iTunes, search Poker Life or links in the description. You can watch all my podcasts. They'll be updated each day on there. I feel like we're done. There's a lot more questions. This could go on forever, but I'm going to try to wrap it up. I was trying to keep this 2 hours long. We're 2:45 in right now. That's it. Phil, any last parting words?
Thanks, Joey. You let me know when we come back.
Sounds great, guys. Smash that like button before you go if you enjoyed the podcast. If you didn't, then I'm sorry, don't smash anything. That's it, guys. Much love. I need a refund for the bracelet. No, it's okay. Take care, guys. Peace out. That's it.